In the stillness of the night, when the moon hangs low and the stars sprinkle their light across the sky, whispers of ancient stories drift through the air. These are stories told by the fire, passed down from one generation to the next, filled with the mysteries of the world that was, and still is. Among these tales, there are those that speak of small, magical beings who live in the shadows, beneath the trees, and near the water's edge, beings who are neither fully spirit nor fully human. These are the fairies of Native American mythology, beings as old as time itself, who move through the natural world unseen but always felt. In the dense forests where the Iroquois people live, there are tales of the little people. These beings, no taller than a child's knee, are known to be both kind and mischievous. They care for the plants, they protect the animals, and they help those humans who respect the natural world. But they can also play tricks on those who are greedy or disrespectful, leading them astray in the woods or hiding their belongings. The little people are not just figures of imagination, they are guardians, watchers over the land, reminding us all of the balance between humans and nature. Farther west, among the Sioux, there are stories of small, magical beings who live in the hills. These beings are said to live in secret villages, hidden away from the eyes of men. They are wise and old, with knowledge that stretches back to the beginning of the earth. They protect sacred places, where the earth and sky meet, where the spirits dwell. The Sioux people speak of these fairies with reverence, for they are powerful and should never be angered. To see one is a rare blessing, a sign that you are in the presence of something ancient and holy. In the wide, open plains where the Cheyenne roam, the stories of fairies take on a different shape. Here, the fairies are known as spirits of the wind, invisible to the eye but always present. They are said to be the voices in the wind, the ones who guide the warriors and protect the children. These fairies are elusive, hard to grasp, and always just out of reach. They are the breath of the earth, the whisper of the ancestors, and they carry with them the wisdom of the ages. To hear their voices in the wind is to hear the heartbeat of the land itself. In the Southwest, among the Hopi and the Navajo, the fairies are not just small people but spirits who embody the elements. They are the rain, the wind, the sun, and the earth, each with its own personality and power. The Hopi speak of Kachinas, spirit beings who bring the rain and make the crops grow. These beings are often depicted in art, carved into dolls that are given to children to teach them about the world and the spirits that inhabit it. The Navajo speak of holy people, who guide and protect, who walk among the living and the dead. These fairies are not just stories, they are part of the fabric of life, woven into the rituals and ceremonies that keep the world in balance. In the forests of the Pacific Northwest, where the Salish and Haida people live, the fairies are tied to the water and the trees. They are the spirits of the cedar, the beings who live in the rivers and streams. These fairies are gentle but strong, able to shapeshift into animals or even disappear into the mist. They are protectors of the land, watching over the salmon as they swim upstream, guiding the deer through the forest. The people of the Pacific Northwest honor these fairies through their art, carving their images into totem poles, painting them on their canoes, and telling their stories through songs and dances. Even in the frozen lands of the Arctic, among the Inuit, there are stories of small, magical beings. These beings are the spirits of the ice, the snow, and the sea. They are said to live beneath the ice, in a world that is both beautiful and dangerous. The Inuit speak of these beings with awe, for they are powerful and unpredictable. They can bring good fortune, guiding the hunters to the seal and the whale, or they can bring disaster, cracking the ice beneath your feet or stirring up a blizzard. These fairies are the keepers of the Arctic, the ones who ensure that life continues in a land where survival is always uncertain. Each of these cultures, with their own stories and beliefs, shares a common thread, the presence of these small, magical beings who live alongside us, unseen but always there. They are the guardians of the natural world, the ones who keep the balance, who remind us of our place in the world. They are the fairies of Native American mythology, beings who exist in the spaces between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. These fairies are not just stories to be told by the fire, they are living beings, part of the world as real as the trees and the rivers. They are the protectors of the land, the ones who ensure that the world remains as it should be. They are the keepers of the old ways, the ones who remember the time when humans and nature lived in harmony. And though they may be small, their presence is felt in every leaf that rustles, every stream that flows, and every wind that blows. To the Native American peoples, these fairies are as real as the earth beneath their feet, as real as the sky above their heads. They are the threads that tie the past to the present, the living to the spirit world. They are the echoes of a time when the world was new, and everything was connected. In their stories, in their presence, we find a reminder of the magic that still exists in the world, if only we take the time to listen, to see, and to believe. In the quiet moments between night and day, when the world holds its breath and the earth seems to whisper its oldest secrets, there are tales that rise from the very soil we walk on. These tales tell of beings who are as ancient as the mountains and as fleeting as the morning mist. They are the fairies of Native American beliefs, but they are unlike any fairies you might have heard of before. In the minds of those who live close to the land, these fairies are not the delicate, winged creatures of European stories. They are something much deeper, something tied to the very soul of the earth. They are spirits, guardians, and guides, woven into the fabric of life itself. In Native American cultures, fairies are seen not as separate from nature but as a part of it. They are the heartbeat of the forests, the breath of the wind, the pulse of the rivers. They are life in its purest form, neither fully human nor fully spirit, but something in between. Among the tribes of the eastern woodlands, the fairies are known as the little people. These beings are not just playful sprites who dance in the moonlight, they are protectors of the land and its creatures. They care for the plants, ensure the animals are safe, and watch over the people who respect the natural world. The little people are wise and powerful, and though they are small, their influence is vast. They are not to be trifled with, for they can be both kind and fierce. They represent the balance between humans and nature, a balance that must be maintained for the world to thrive. To the Sioux, fairies are not creatures of mischief but spirits of the earth. They live in the hills and the plains, and places where the world feels sacred. These fairies are guardians of the natural world, protecting the land from those who would harm it. They are the voices in the wind, the whispers in the grass, and the echoes in the stones. They are not visible to the eye, but their presence is always felt. To the Sioux, these fairies are reminders of the sacredness of the earth, of the need to live in harmony with all living things. In the Southwest, among the Navajo and Hopi, fairies take on a different form. They are not seen as small, mischievous beings, but as powerful spirits who embody the elements of nature. The Hopi speak of Kachinas, spirit beings who bring rain, ensure the harvest, and protect the people. These beings are revered and respected, for they hold the power of life and death. The Navajo have their own fairies, known as the Holy People, who guide, protect, and heal. These spirits are not to be taken lightly, they are the keepers of the earth, the ones who ensure that the world remains in balance. In the Pacific Northwest, the fairies are tied to the water and the trees. They are the spirits of the cedar, the guardians of the rivers, and the protectors of the salmon. These beings are seen as wise and ancient, with knowledge that stretches back to the beginning of time. They are not to be feared but respected, for they hold the secrets of the earth. The people of the Pacific Northwest honor these fairies through their art and stories, keeping their presence alive in the hearts of their children. Even in the frozen lands of the Arctic, among the Inuit, fairies are seen not as playful creatures but as powerful spirits who control the ice, the snow, and the sea. These beings are feared and revered, for they can bring both life and death. The Inuit speak of them with awe, knowing that they hold the power to shape the world around them. These fairies are not just part of the land, they are the land, the sea, and the sky. They are the forces that drive the world, the spirits that keep life in balance. What makes the fairies of Native American beliefs so different from those in European folklore is the way they are seen as integral parts of the natural world. In European stories, fairies are often depicted as whimsical, sometimes mischievous beings who live in a world separate from ours. They are creatures of fantasy, living in hidden realms or magical lands. But in Native American beliefs, fairies are much more than that. They are the essence of nature itself, the spirits that inhabit the world around us. They are not separate from the earth, they are the earth, the air, the water, and the fire. These fairies are not beings to be feared or worshipped, but respected and honored. They are seen as teachers, guides, and protectors, showing us the way to live in harmony with the world around us. They remind us that we are not separate from nature but a part of it, and that the balance of life depends on our respect for the earth and its creatures. They are the keepers of the old ways, the ones who remember the time when humans and nature were one. In Native American cultures, the fairies are a symbol of the interconnectedness of all things. They are the threads that tie the world together, the spirits that keep the balance. They are not just figures of myth or imagination, they are real, living beings who walk alongside us, unseen but always there. They are the guardians of the earth, the ones who ensure that life continues, that the world remains as it should be. To see the fairies of Native American beliefs is to see the world in its true form, to understand that we are all connected, that every living thing is part of the same great web of life. They are the breath of the earth, the pulse of the rivers, the whisper of the wind. They are the heartbeat of the world, the spirits that keep us alive, that keep the earth turning, that keep the balance between all things. When the world was new, when the land was still soft beneath the feet of the first people, there were stories that rose from the earth itself. These stories were not just tales to pass the time, they were the breath of the ancestors, the voices of the mountains, the rivers, and the trees. Among these ancient stories, there are whispers of beings who have always been here, who walked the earth before humans, and who continue to watch over it even now. These are the fairies of Native American folklore, beings whose origins are as old as the land itself. In the beginning, when the Creator shaped the world, every part of the earth was given a spirit. The rivers flowed with life, the mountains stood tall with strength, and the forests teemed with energy. The people who lived in this world understood that they were not alone, that they shared the land with other beings who were just as real, just as alive. These beings were not seen with the eyes, but they were felt with the heart. They were the fairies, the little people, the spirits who moved through the world like a shadow, always present, always watching. For the Iroquois people, the fairies were born from the earth itself. They were the children of the first plants, the first animals, the first rivers. These beings were small but powerful, guardians of the natural world. They lived in the hills, the forests, and the streams, protecting the land from harm and guiding those who respected it. The Iroquois believed that these fairies were the spirits of the earth, sent by the Creator to ensure that the world remained in balance. They were a part of every tree, every stone, every drop of water. They were the soul of the earth, the life that flowed through all things. In the plains, where the Sioux people roamed, the fairies were seen as the spirits of the land itself. They were the echoes of the ancestors, the voices of the wind, the heartbeat of the earth. These beings were not just protectors of the land, they were the land. They lived in the sacred places, where the earth and sky touched, where the spirits dwelled. The Sioux believed that these fairies were the keepers of the old ways, the ones who remembered the time when the world was new. They were the guardians of the past, the guides to the future, and they were always near, even if they could not be seen. In the arid lands of the Southwest, the fairies took on a different form. Here, they were the Kachinas, the spirit beings who brought the rain, who made the crops grow, who protected the people. The Hopi people believed that these beings were the ancestors, the spirits of those who had gone before. They lived in the mountains, in the clouds, and the very earth itself. The Kachinas were not just fairies, they were the embodiment of life, the forces that made the world turn. They were honored in ceremonies, depicted in art, and remembered in stories passed down from one generation to the next. In the forests of the Pacific Northwest, the fairies were tied to the trees, the rivers, and the animals. The Haida people spoke of the spirits who lived in the cedar trees, who guided the salmon as they swam upstream, who watched over the deer as they moved through the forest. These beings were as old as the trees themselves, as ancient as the rivers. They were the spirits of the land, the protectors of the animals, the guardians of the people. The Haida believed that these fairies were the souls of the earth, the life force that moved through all things. They were honored in totem poles, remembered in songs, and revered in the stories told by the fire. In the frozen north, among the Inuit, the fairies were the spirits of the ice, the snow, and the sea. These beings were born from the cold, shaped by the wind, and given life by the sea. They were the spirits who guided the hunters, who protected the children, who ensured that the balance of life was maintained. The Inuit believed that these fairies were the breath of the earth, the force that kept the world alive. They were not just beings of myth, they were as real as the ice beneath their feet, as present as the wind in their hair. They were the guardians of the Arctic, the keepers of the old ways, and they were always near, even in the coldest, darkest nights. The fairies of Native American folklore are not just figures of myth or imagination, they are the spirits of the land, the ancestors who have always been here, who will always be here. They are the breath of the earth, the heartbeat of the world, the life that flows through all things. Their origins are as old as the land itself, as ancient as the first people who walked upon it. They are a part of the earth, a part of the sky, a part of the very fabric of life. These fairies are not just stories to be told, they are the living memories of the land, the spirits who keep the balance, who ensure that life continues. They are the guardians of the past, the protectors of the present, and the guides to the future. They are the keepers of the old ways, the ones who remember the time when the world was new, when everything was connected, when the earth and sky were one. And though they may be unseen, they are always here, always watching, always protecting. In the tales of the fairies, we find the echoes of a time when the world was filled with magic, when the spirits walked the earth, when life was a dance between the seen and the unseen. These stories are not just tales to be told, they are the breath of the earth, the life of the land, the soul of the world. They are the fairies of Native American folklore, beings whose origins are as ancient as the earth itself, whose presence is as real as the ground beneath our feet. They are the keepers of the old ways, the guardians of the natural world, the spirits who ensure that life continues, that the world remains as it should be. In the silence of the forest, where the trees whisper ancient secrets and the earth breathes beneath your feet, there is a presence that fills the air with something more than just life. It's a connection that tugs at the very essence of your being, reminding you that the world is far more alive than it seems. This presence is the fairies of Native American spirituality, beings who are not just creatures of myth, but are woven into the very fabric of nature and the supernatural. To the people who have walked these lands for generations, fairies are not distant, mythical beings, they are a part of the world that surrounds them. They are as real as the wind that rustles the leaves, as tangible as the sun that warms the earth. These fairies are the spirits that move through the natural world, bridging the gap between the physical and the spiritual. They are the messengers, the protectors, and the guides, leading those who listen to a deeper understanding of life itself. In the heart of Native American spirituality, everything is connected. The earth, the sky, the animals, the plants, everything has a spirit, a life force that ties it to the Creator. Fairies are seen as the keepers of this connection. They are the ones who ensure that the natural world remains in harmony, that the balance between life and death, growth and decay, is maintained. They are the caretakers of the earth, the ones who work behind the scenes to keep the world as it should be. The fairies are also seen as teachers. They are the spirits who guide people on their spiritual journeys, helping them to understand the world around them. These beings do not speak in words, their language is one of feeling, of intuition, of understanding that comes from deep within. They teach through the rustle of leaves in the wind, the song of the river as it flows, the quiet stillness of a snow-covered field. They show that spirituality is not something separate from the world, but something that is deeply intertwined with it. To connect with the fairies is to connect with the spirit of the earth itself, to feel the heartbeat of the world in your own chest. In many Native American cultures, fairies are seen as guardians of the sacred places, the spots where the veil between the physical and the spiritual is thinnest. These places might be a quiet grove in the forest, a clear mountain stream, or a solitary peak rising into the sky. The fairies watch over these places, ensuring that they remain pure, untouched by the hands of those who do not understand their significance. To encounter a fairy in one of these places is to experience something profound, something that touches the soul and leaves a mark that lasts a lifetime. But fairies are not just guardians of places, they are also guardians of people. They are the protectors of those who live in harmony with the earth, who respect the natural world and all its inhabitants. These beings watch over the young, the old, the sick, and the vulnerable, offering protection and guidance when it is needed most. They are the unseen hands that guide a lost child home, the whisper in the night that warns of danger, the feeling of warmth and comfort in the midst of sorrow. To feel the presence of a fairy is to know that you are not alone, that there is something greater than yourself watching over you. The connection between fairies and the supernatural is also deeply rooted in Native American spirituality. Fairies are seen as the intermediaries between the human world and the spirit world. They are the ones who carry messages between the living and the dead, who guide souls to the afterlife, who bring healing and comfort to those in need. These beings are not bound by the same rules that govern the physical world. They move between the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown, bringing with them the wisdom of the ages. In times of need, it is not uncommon for people to call upon the fairies for help. Whether it is to heal the sick, to protect a loved one, or to find guidance in difficult times, the fairies are there, offering their assistance in ways that are often subtle but always powerful. Their help might come in the form of a sudden inspiration, a comforting dream, or a feeling of peace that washes over you like a gentle breeze. These are the signs that the fairies are near, that they are working to bring balance and harmony to your life. For the people who live close to the land, the fairies are a constant presence, a reminder that the world is alive with spirits and that we are never truly alone. They are the breath of the earth, the heartbeat of the forest, the whisper of the wind. They are the spirits that connect us to something greater than ourselves, something that transcends the physical and touches the very soul. To connect with the fairies is to connect with the spirit of the earth, to feel the pulse of life that runs through everything, to know that there is more to this world than what we can see with our eyes. The fairies are not just a part of nature, they are nature itself, the spirit that flows through every tree, every stone, every living thing. They are the ones who keep the world in balance, who ensure that the natural order is maintained, who remind us of our place in the world. In their presence, we are reminded that we are not separate from the earth, but a part of it, that our lives are intertwined with the lives of all living things. The fairies are the guardians of this connection, the ones who ensure that it is never broken, that the world remains whole, that life continues in all its beauty and mystery. Across the world, in the quiet corners of the earth where stories are whispered and not shouted, there are tales of beings who live just beyond the reach of our senses. These beings, known by many names and taking on many forms, are the fairies, mystical creatures that have captured the hearts and minds of countless cultures. But while the fairies of Europe are known for their trickery and charm, the fairies of Native American traditions bring with them a different kind of magic, a connection that runs as deep as the roots of an ancient tree. In the forests of Ireland, where the mist clings to the hills and the old stones bear witness to centuries of tales, the fairies are mischievous and playful. They dance in rings of mushrooms, lead travelers astray, and steal away with anything that catches their fancy. These beings, known as the Alsi, are part of a world that exists alongside our own, a world where the lines between the seen and unseen blur, and where the unexpected is always just around the corner. But in the vast landscapes of North America, where the horizon stretches endlessly and the earth hums with life, the fairies take on a different role. Here, they are the guardians of nature, the spirits who protect the balance of the world. They are not just playful tricksters, they are the keepers of the land, the ones who ensure that the earth remains in harmony. They are respected and revered, treated with a deep sense of awe and reverence. Their presence is a reminder that the natural world is alive with spirits, that every tree, every river, every mountain has a soul that must be honored. In the forests of northern Europe, there are the elves, beings of light and shadow who dwell in the dark woods and the lonely moors. These elves are powerful and mysterious, capable of great kindness and great harm. They are tied to the natural world, but they exist on the fringes of it, always just out of sight, always just beyond the reach of human understanding. The people of these lands leave offerings for the elves, hoping to appease them, to win their favor, or at least to avoid their wrath. In contrast, the fairies of the Sioux people are the very essence of the land itself. They are not separate from the world, they are the world. They are the spirits of the wind, the voices in the thunder, the echoes in the canyons. They move through the natural world with ease, blending into the landscape, becoming a part of it. The Sioux believe that these fairies are the ancestors, the ones who have always been here, who will always be here. They are not just beings to be feared or appeased. They are the guardians, the protectors, the ones who ensure that the world remains as it should be. In the bustling cities of Japan, there are the yokai, supernatural creatures that inhabit the land of the rising sun. These beings are as varied as the cultures that believe in them. Some are benevolent, some are malevolent, and some are simply mischievous. They are tied to the places they inhabit, from the deep forests to the bustling streets, and they are as much a part of the culture as the people themselves. The yokai are respected, feared, and sometimes even worshipped, their presence a reminder of the thin line between the ordinary and the extraordinary. But for the Hopi people of the American Southwest, the fairies are the Kachinas, the spirits who bring life to the world. The Kachinas are not just beings of myth, they are the very essence of life itself. They bring the rain that nourishes the crops, the sun that warms the earth, the wind that cools the day. They are the spirits of the ancestors, the ones who guide the people, who protect them, who ensure that life continues. The Kachinas are honored in ceremonies, their presence invoked to bring blessings to the people, to ensure that the world remains in balance. In the mountains of Scotland, where the mist rolls in from the sea and the heather blooms in the fields, there are the brownies, helpful household spirits who do their work in secret. These small, hard-working fairies are known for their diligence and their loyalty, taking care of the chores while the household sleeps. But they are also known for their tempers, and those who do not treat them with respect may find their homes in disarray, their good fortune turned to bad. Meanwhile, in the forests of the Pacific Northwest, the Haida speak of the fairies who live in the ancient cedar trees, the spirits who guide the animals and protect the people. These fairies are the guardians of the forest, the ones who ensure that the balance between life and death, growth and decay, is maintained. They are the ones who guide the salmon as they swim upstream, who watch over the deer as they move through the forest, who ensure that the cycle of life continues. The Haida people honor these fairies in their art, their songs, and their stories, recognizing them as the true protectors of the land. In the deserts of Africa, where the sand stretches as far as the eye can see, there are the Jinn, powerful spirits who inhabit the barren landscapes. These beings are both feared and respected, capable of granting wishes or bringing disaster. They are tied to the land they inhabit, their presence felt in the howling wind, the shifting sand, the blazing sun. The people of these lands treat the Jinn with caution, knowing that their favor can be as dangerous as their wrath. But in the frozen lands of the Arctic, among the Inuit, the fairies are the spirits of the ice, the snow, and the sea. They are the breath of the earth, the force that keeps the world alive. The Inuit believe that these fairies are the protectors of the people, the ones who ensure that the balance between life and death is maintained. They are not just beings of myth, they are the very essence of life in the Arctic, the spirits who guide the hunters, protect the children, and ensure that the world remains in harmony. Across the world, and every culture, there are stories of fairies, of beings who inhabit the world just beyond our senses, who move through the natural world with a grace and a power that is both awe-inspiring and humbling. These beings are a reminder that the world is alive with spirits, that we are not alone, that there is more to life than what we can see with our eyes. They are the guardians, the protectors, the guides, the ones who ensure that the balance is maintained, that life continues, that the world remains as it should be. And though they may take on different forms, though they may go by different names, they are all connected by a common thread, a deep, abiding connection to the land, to the natural world, to the very essence of life itself. In the dense, shadowed forests of the eastern woodlands, where the trees stand like ancient sentinels and the air is thick with the scent of pine and earth, there are whispers of beings that few have seen but many have felt. These are the little people, the mysterious and powerful spirits who inhabit the woods, rivers, and mountains of the Iroquois and Algonquian tribes. They are the ones who dwell in the hidden places, who watch over the land and its people with both kindness and caution. To the Iroquois, the little people are the invisible guardians of the earth, the ones who move through the forest unseen, but always present. They are small in stature, but their presence is mighty. The little people are believed to live in the hills, near streams, and under the roots of ancient trees. They are the keepers of the earth's secrets, the ones who understand the language of the animals, the songs of the wind, and the stories that the trees whisper to one another. But these beings are not just passive observers, they are active participants in the lives of those who share their land. The Iroquois speak of the little people with a mixture of respect and caution, knowing that while they can be benevolent, they are also easily offended. They are known to help those who honor the earth, who respect the balance of nature, and who live in harmony with the world around them. These people might find themselves receiving gifts from the little people, an unexpected harvest, a sudden stroke of good fortune, or the safe return of a lost loved one. But those who disrespect the land, who take more than they need, or who fail to acknowledge the presence of the little people, may find themselves lost in the woods, their belongings mysteriously moved, or their lives suddenly turned upside down. The Algonquian tribes also speak of the little people, though they go by different names, Pukwudgies, Nanabozo, and others. These beings are said to be tricksters, capable of playing pranks on those who cross their path. They are mischievous, with a sense of humor that can be both lighthearted and dark. But beneath their playful nature lies a deep connection to the earth and a fierce protectiveness of the land they inhabit. The Pukwudgies, for example, are known for their small size and their ability to appear and disappear at will. They can be helpful, guiding travelers through the forest, or they can be dangerous, leading them astray if they feel disrespected. Stories tell of people who have encountered the Pukwudgies, only to be led in circles for hours, never finding their way out of the woods until they remember to leave a small offering or say a prayer of thanks. The Pukwudgies remind us that the forest is not just a place of trees and animals, but a living, breathing entity with its own will and desires. These fairies of the eastern woodlands are not just characters in old stories, they are the embodiment of the land itself. They are the spirits of the earth, the water, and the sky, the ones who ensure that the balance of nature is maintained. They are a reminder that the world is alive with spirits, that we are never truly alone, that every step we take is watched by unseen eyes. The little people are the keepers of the ancient ways, the ones who hold the knowledge of the earth in their small, powerful hands. The Iroquois believe that the little people can bring healing and protection to those who honor them. In times of sickness or trouble, the people might call upon the little people for help, offering tobacco, food, or other gifts as a sign of respect. The little people, in turn, might bring a dream, a vision, or a sign that guides the person to the right path. But this help is never guaranteed, and it is always given on the little people's terms. They are not beings to be commanded or controlled, they are forces of nature, to be respected and honored, but never taken for granted. In the Algonquian tradition, the little people are also seen as protectors of the natural world. They watch over the animals, the plants, and the land itself, ensuring that the balance of life is maintained. The Algonquians tell stories of hunters who have encountered the little people, only to be warned away from overhunting or taking more than they need. Those who listen to these warnings often find their hunts successful, their lives blessed with abundance. But those who ignore the little people's guidance may find themselves lost, their luck turned sour, their connection to the land severed. The little people of the eastern woodlands are more than just fairy tale creatures, they are a reflection of the deep connection that the Iroquois and Algonquian tribes have with the land. They are a reminder that the world is alive with spirits, that every tree, every rock, every stream has a soul. They are the guardians of the earth, the protectors of the natural world, the ones who ensure that the balance of life is maintained. In the quiet of the forest, in the stillness of the night, when the wind rustles the leaves and the stars shine brightly above, the little people are there, watching, waiting, protecting. They are the unseen forces that guide the people of the eastern woodlands, the spirits who remind us that the world is more alive, more magical, and more connected than we could ever imagine. In the wide open plains, where the sky stretches endlessly and the wind whispers across the tall grass, there are stories that have been passed down through generations. Stories of beings who move unseen across the land, guiding, protecting, and sometimes testing those who dwell there. These are the fairies of the Great Plains, spirits woven into the very fabric of the earth, respected and revered by the Sioux, Cheyenne, and other plains tribes. The Sioux people speak of the Kanadala, little tree dwellers who live in the hollows of ancient cottonwoods. These beings are small in size, but hold immense power. They are the guardians of the forest, watching over the animals and the people who live there. The Kanadala are said to be shy, rarely showing themselves to humans, but their presence is always felt. On nights when the wind is still and the moonlight filters through the leaves, some say you can hear the Kanadala singing, their voices blending with the rustling of the trees, creating a melody that touches the soul. Those who hear this song are blessed, but only if they listen with respect and an open heart. To the Sioux, the Kanadala are more than just forest spirits, they are teachers and protectors. They guide the hunters, leading them to the game that will feed their families. They watch over the children, keeping them safe from harm. But they are also quick to remind those who stray from the path of respect. A hunter who takes more than he needs, or who forgets to give thanks for his bounty, may find himself lost in the woods, unable to find his way home until he makes amends. The Cheyenne, too, have their own stories of the little people, beings who are deeply connected to the earth and the stars. They speak of the Nemo, water spirits who dwell in the rivers and streams that cut through the plains. The Nemo are believed to have the power to control the flow of water, bringing rain to nourish the land or withholding it in times of drought. They are said to be the protectors of the water, ensuring that it remains pure and abundant. The Cheyenne believe that the Nemo can take on different forms, sometimes appearing as fish, other times as small, human-like figures. But no matter their form, their presence is always a reminder of the importance of water in this vast, arid land. The Nemo are also known to be healers. It is said that those who are suffering from illness or injury can seek out the Nemo, offering them gifts of tobacco or sweetgrass in exchange for their help. The Nemo might then appear in a dream, bringing with them knowledge of healing herbs or guiding the person to a sacred spring where they can find relief. But like the Kanadala, the Nemo must be treated with respect. Those who pollute the water or take it for granted may find themselves facing the Nemo's wrath in the form of drought or disease. In the stories of the Plains tribes, these fairies are not just whimsical beings of myth, they are vital parts of the world, integral to the balance of life. The Sioux and Cheyenne understand that the land is alive with spirits, that every tree, every stream, every gust of wind carries with it the presence of these beings. They know that to live in harmony with the world, they must honor the fairies, treating them with the same respect and reverence that they show to the earth itself. The plains are a land of extremes, where the sun beats down mercilessly in summer and the cold winds bite in winter. It is a land where survival is not guaranteed, where the people rely on the guidance and protection of the spirits to see them through the hardest times. The fairies of the Great Plains are more than just protectors, they are the ones who ensure that life continues, that the balance between man and nature is maintained. They are the ones who keep the circle unbroken, who watch over the land and its people with a steady, unwavering gaze. Among the Lakota, there is another story, one that speaks of the Umpthi, giant water serpents who dwell in the deep lakes and rivers. These beings are seen as powerful, almost godlike, with the ability to control the weather and bring great floods. But the Lakota also believe that there are smaller, more benevolent water spirits who serve the Umpthi, acting as intermediaries between the great serpents and the people. These smaller spirits are seen as fairies, guiding the people away from danger and helping them to find safe passage across the water. The Umpthi are both feared and respected, but their fairy servants are seen as more approachable, more willing to help those who are in need. They are said to bring dreams of water, guiding the people to new sources when the rivers run dry. They are the ones who whisper to the fish, leading them into the nets of the fishermen. They are the protectors of the water, ensuring that it remains a source of life for all who depend on it. In the stories of the Plains tribes, the fairies are not distant, otherworldly beings. They are part of the land, part of the people's daily lives. They are the ones who ensure that the earth remains in balance, that the people have what they need to survive, that the circle of life continues unbroken. They are the ones who watch over the land with love and care, ensuring that it remains a place where life can thrive. These fairies of the Great Plains are more than just stories, they are the embodiment of the connection between the people and the land. They are the guardians of the natural world, the protectors of the earth and all its creatures. They are a reminder that we are not alone in this world, that we are always watched over, always cared for, by the spirits who dwell in the land around us. And in the quiet moments, when the wind is still and the sky is full of stars, we can feel their presence, a gentle, reassuring reminder that we are never truly alone. In the arid lands of the Southwest, where the sun casts long shadows over the desert and the red rocks hold the stories of ancient times, there are beings that move unseen through the heat and dust. These are the spirits of the Navajo, Hopi, and Pueblo tribes, fairy-like entities that are as much a part of the landscape as the towering mesas and winding canyons. They are the Kachinas, the Yabakai, and the other spirits that dance through the myths and memories of these peoples, their presence a reminder of the deep connection between the land, the sky, and the people who inhabit them. The Hopi speak of the Kachinas, spiritual beings who embody the forces of nature, the ancestors, and the spirits of the world. The Kachinas are not just one kind of being, but many, each with its own role, personality, and appearance. They are the rainmakers, the healers, the bringers of life and the takers of death. They are the ones who ensure that the seasons change, that the crops grow, that the people are protected and guided. To the Hopi, the Kachinas are not distant, aloof gods, but intimate, familiar presences, the spirits who walk among them, who share in their joys and sorrows, who guide them through the trials of life. In the dry months, when the earth cracks under the weight of the sun, the Hopi look to the Kachinas for rain. They call upon the cloud people, the Kachinas who dwell in the sky, asking them to bring the rain that will nourish the crops and sustain the people. The cloud people are said to be tall and powerful, their bodies made of mist and rain, their voices the sound of thunder. When the rain finally comes, it is not just water falling from the sky, but a gift from the Kachinas, a sign that the spirits have heard the people's prayers and have answered them. The Kachinas are also the keepers of tradition, the ones who teach the people how to live in harmony with the world around them. During the Kachina dances, the spirits come to life, embodied by the dancers who wear the sacred masks and costumes. These dances are not just performances, but sacred rituals, moments when the veil between the world of the living and the world of the spirits is thin, and the Kachinas walk among the people once more. The dancers become the Kachinas, their movements guided by the spirits, their voices speaking the words of the ancestors. It is in these moments that the Hopi feel the presence of the Kachinas most strongly, knowing that they are not alone, that the spirits are with them, guiding them, protecting them. For the Navajo, the Yabakai are the holy people, the beings who dwell in the mountains and the stars, who bring healing and guidance to the people. The Yabakai are not seen as fairies in the European sense, but they share many of the same qualities: mystery, power, a connection to nature and the supernatural. The Navajo believe that the Yabakai can take on many forms, appearing as animals, as people, or as the wind that whispers through the canyons. They are the ones who bring the people the knowledge of healing, the songs and prayers that have the power to cure illness, to bring balance to the body and the spirit. The Yabakai are central to the Navajo healing ceremonies, the rituals that are performed to restore harmony to those who are ill or troubled. During the Nightway ceremony, the Yabakai come to life through the masked dancers, who become the spirits for the duration of the ritual. The chants and songs of the ceremony are said to have been given to the people by the Yabakai themselves, a gift from the spirits to the living. As the dancers move through the night, their bodies painted with sacred symbols, their voices rising in song, the Yabakai are believed to be present, their power flowing through the dancers, bringing healing to those who need it. The Pueblo tribes also have their own fairy-like beings, spirits who dwell in the sacred places, the caves and cliffs, the rivers and springs. These spirits are often seen as protectors, beings who watch over the land and the people, ensuring that the balance of the world is maintained. They are the ones who bring the rain, who ensure that the crops grow, who protect the people from harm. The Pueblo believe that these spirits can be called upon in times of need, through prayer, through song, through offerings left in the sacred places. One such spirit is the Kokopili, the humpbacked flute player who is both a bringer of fertility and a trickster. Kokopili is said to wander through the desert, playing his flute, bringing the rains that nourish the crops and the people. He is also a mischievous spirit, known for his playful nature and his love of jokes. But beneath his playful exterior lies a deep power, a connection to the forces of nature that makes him both revered and respected. The Pueblo believe that Kokopili can bring both good fortune and mischief, depending on how he is treated. Those who honor him may find their crops flourishing, their lives filled with abundance. But those who ignore him or treat him with disrespect may find themselves plagued by drought, by bad luck, by the tricks that Kokopili loves to play. These fairy-like spirits of the Southwest are more than just myths. They are a reflection of the land itself, of the harsh beauty of the desert, the power of the sun, the mystery of the mountains. They are the spirits who ensure that life continues, that the people have what they need to survive in this challenging land. They are the guardians of the natural world, the protectors of the earth, the ones who ensure that the balance of life is maintained. In the quiet moments, when the sun is setting and the world is bathed in the warm glow of twilight, the spirits of the Southwest can be felt in the air, in the earth, in the very breath of the land. They are the Kachinas who dance in the clouds, the Yabakai who whisper in the wind, the Kokopili who plays his flute in the distance. They are the beings who connect the people to the land, who remind them of the importance of living in harmony with the world around them. And as the stars begin to shine in the vast desert sky, the people of the Southwest know that they are not alone, that the spirits are with them, guiding them, protecting them, just as they have for countless generations. These spirits are not just part of the past, they are part of the present, part of the land, part of the people. They are a reminder that the world is alive with magic, with mystery, with the unseen forces that move through the land, ensuring that life continues, that the circle remains unbroken, that the world is always full of wonder. In the dense, misty forests of the Pacific Northwest, where the towering cedar trees reach toward the sky and the rivers run cold and clear, there are whispers of beings that dance on the edge of sight. The Salish, Tlingit, and Haida tribes speak of these spirits, fairy-like entities that live among the trees, in the waters, and within the very earth. They are the ones who weave the fabric of nature, who maintain the balance between the land and its people. Their presence is felt in the rustling of leaves, the babble of brooks, and the cool breeze that sweeps through the pines. The Salish people tell of the Stick Indians, mysterious beings that dwell deep in the woods, far from the eyes of ordinary men. These beings are said to be small and elusive, with the power to control the forest around them. They are the keepers of the wild, the guardians of the animals, the protectors of the trees. The Salish believe that the Stick Indians can bring both good fortune and misfortune, depending on how they are treated. Those who respect the forest and its inhabitants may find themselves blessed with abundance, with game that is plentiful and plants that are bountiful. But those who disregard the natural world, who take without giving back, may find themselves lost in the woods, their minds clouded by the magic of the Stick Indians. The Tlingit speak of the Land Otter Man, a being who is both feared and revered. The Land Otter Man is said to be a shapeshifter, a spirit who can take on the form of an otter or a human at will. He lives near the water, where the rivers meet the sea, and his power is tied to the ebb and flow of the tides. The Tlingit believe that the Land Otter Man is a guide for the spirits of the dead, leading them to the afterlife, but he is also a trickster, a being who can lure the unwary into the water, never to return. His presence is felt in the quiet moments by the water's edge, in the ripples that appear without warning, and the sudden chill that runs down the spine. To the Tlingit, the Land Otter Man is a reminder of the thin line between the worlds of the living and the dead, of the power of nature to both give life and take it away. The Haida have their own tales of the fairies of the forest, spirits who are closely tied to the animals and the land. One of the most well-known of these spirits is the Woodworm Woman, a being who lives in the trees and watches over the forest. The Woodworm Woman is said to be a healer, a spirit who can mend broken bones and cure illness with the power of the plants that grow in the forest. She is also a protector, a being who defends the animals and the trees from those who would harm them. The Haida believe that the Woodworm Woman can be called upon in times of need, that she will come to the aid of those who honor the forest and its creatures. In the Pacific Northwest, the connection between the people and the land is strong, and the fairy-like spirits are a reflection of that bond. The Salish, Tlingit, and Haida all believe that these spirits are not separate from the natural world, but a part of it, beings who embody the very essence of the land and its creatures. They are the spirits who guide the salmon up the rivers, who ensure that the trees grow tall and strong, who protect the animals that call the forest home. They are the ones who keep the balance, who maintain the harmony between the land and its people. The Salish believe that the Stick Indians can be seen in the flicker of a shadow, in the movement of the branches, and the sudden rustle of leaves. They are the spirits who watch over the hunters, who guide them to the game that will feed their families. But they are also the spirits who punish those who take more than they need, who harm the forest without thought for the future. The Salish know that to survive in the wild, one must respect the Stick Indians, must honor the spirits who live in the woods. It is said that the Stick Indians can lead a hunter to the finest deer, or they can lead him astray, into the deepest part of the forest, where the trees close in and the way out is lost. The Tlingit speak of the land otter man with both fear and reverence. He is a spirit who can bring death, but also one who can guide the souls of the departed to the afterlife. The land otter man is believed to be a master of deception, a being who can lure the unsuspecting into the water with the promise of something they desire, only to drag them down into the depths. But he is also a protector, a spirit who watches over the waters, who ensures that the fish are plentiful, that the tides are regular, that the world of the sea and the world of the land remain in harmony. To the Tlingit, the land otter man is a reminder of the power of the sea, of the dangers that lie beneath its surface, but also of the life that it gives, the sustenance that it provides. The Haida believe that the woodworm woman is a guardian of the forest, a spirit who ensures that the trees grow strong, that the animals are safe, that the plants are abundant. She is a healer, a being who knows the secrets of the plants, who can use their power to cure illness, to mend broken bones, to bring the dead back to life. The Haida believe that the woodworm woman can be seen in the tall, straight trees that reach toward the sky, in the plants that grow in the shade of the forest, and the animals that roam the woods. She is a spirit who embodies the essence of the forest, who ensures that it remains healthy and strong, that it continues to provide for the people who depend on it. The fairy-like spirits of the Pacific Northwest are a reminder of the deep connection between the land and its people, of the importance of living in harmony with the natural world. They are the beings who ensure that the balance is maintained, that the land remains fertile and abundant, that the people are protected and provided for. They are the spirits who live in the trees, in the rivers, in the very earth itself, who watch over the land and its people, who guide them, protect them, and remind them of the importance of respect and reverence for the natural world. In the stillness of the forest, when the mist hangs heavy in the air and the only sound is the rustle of leaves, the presence of these spirits can be felt. They are the ones who move unseen through the woods, who whisper in the wind, who watch over the land and its people, ensuring that the balance is maintained, that the world remains as it should be. They are the fairies of the Pacific Northwest, the spirits who live in the land, who are the land, who remind us all of the importance of living in harmony with the world around us. In the vast, icy expanses of the Arctic, where the land is cloaked in snow and the sun disappears for months at a time, the Inuit and other Arctic tribes speak of beings that dwell in the shadows of the tundra. These are the little people, the nature spirits that move silently across the frozen landscape. They are as much a part of the Arctic as the biting wind and the endless night, ancient guardians of a land where survival hangs by a thread. The Inuit know these beings well. They are the Inuit, the little people who live in the crevices of the ice, and the hidden caves that dot the landscape, or beneath the snow-covered ground. The Inuit are small but powerful, with the ability to influence the world around them. They are rarely seen, but their presence is felt in the stillness of the Arctic night, in the way the wind shifts suddenly, or in the eerie quiet that can descend without warning. The Inuit believe that the Inuit are both helpers and tricksters. They can guide hunters to seals and caribou, ensuring that the people have enough to eat during the long, harsh winter. But they can also lead the unwary astray, into the endless whiteness where there is no path home. The Inuit are said to be shy and elusive, preferring to avoid human contact. But when they do appear, it is often as a warning or a sign. Hunters who see them know to be cautious, to respect the land and its creatures, for the little people do not take kindly to those who are reckless or wasteful. They are the protectors of the Arctic, ensuring that the delicate balance between the people and the land is maintained. Those who honor the Inuit, who leave offerings of food or tobacco at the entrances to their hidden homes, may find themselves blessed with good fortune. But those who ignore them, who trample over their homes or take more from the land than they need, may find themselves lost in the snow, with the cold closing in around them. In the long nights of winter, when the wind howls across the tundra and the stars burn brightly in the sky, the stories of the Inuit are told around the fires. These stories are not just tales of mischief and magic, but lessons in survival, in respect for the land and its spirits. The Inuit are reminders that in the Arctic, where life is fragile and the elements are unforgiving, everything is connected. The people, the animals, the land, and the spirits are all part of a delicate web, and to disturb one part of that web is to risk the survival of all. The Inuit are not the only spirits that the Arctic tribes speak of. There are also the Takriaksit, the shadow people who move silently through the snow. The Takriaksit are said to be spirits of the dead, or perhaps beings from another world, who have come to the Arctic to watch over the living. They are taller than the Inuit and more mysterious, often appearing as shadows or figures just out of sight. The Takriaksit are believed to be both guides and guardians, leading lost travelers back to safety or warning of danger ahead. But like the Inuit, they can also be tricksters, leading the careless into the wilderness where they may never return. The Arctic tribes believe that the Takriaksit are deeply connected to the land, to the ice and snow that cover it, and to the animals that live there. They are the spirits of the land itself, the embodiment of the Arctic's power and mystery. To see a Takriaksit is to glimpse the otherworldly, to be reminded of the thin veil that separates the living from the spirit world. The Takriaksit are not to be feared, but respected, for they are the keepers of the Arctic, the ones who ensure that the land remains as it should be, wild and untamed, yet full of life and wonder. The Inuit and other Arctic tribes also tell of the Iditarod, shape-shifting spirits that can take the form of animals or humans. The Iditarod are perhaps the most feared of all the Arctic spirits, for they are unpredictable and often dangerous. They are said to be able to change their appearance at will, to become a caribou or a seal, or even a person, in order to trick or deceive. The Iditarod are believed to be spirits of the land, but ones that have gone astray, that no longer follow the natural order. They are the spirits of chaos, of the unknown, and they remind the Arctic tribes of the dangers that lurk in the wilderness. The Iditarod are often associated with the harshest elements of the Arctic, with the blizzards that can sweep across the tundra without warning, or the sudden cracks in the ice that can swallow a person whole. They are the spirits of the unexpected, of the things that cannot be controlled or predicted. The Inuit believe that the Iditarod are not evil, but rather a force of nature, one that must be respected and feared. Those who encounter an Iditarod know that they are in the presence of something powerful, something that is beyond human understanding. The Iditarod are a reminder that in the Arctic, where the line between life and death is thin, nothing is ever as it seems. The little people and nature spirits of the Arctic are more than just figures of folklore, they are a vital part of the Arctic tribe's understanding of the world. They embody the connection between the people and the land, the respect for nature that is essential for survival in such a harsh environment. The Inuit, the Takriaksit, and the Iditarod are all different aspects of the same belief, that the Arctic is a place of magic and mystery, where the spirits of the land are ever present, watching over the people, guiding them, protecting them, but also reminding them of the fragility of life in this frozen world. In the quiet moments, when the wind dies down and the stars shine brightly in the sky, the presence of these spirits can be felt. They are there, in the stillness of the Arctic night, in the whisper of the wind, in the crunch of snow underfoot. They are the guardians of the land, the keepers of the Arctic, and they are as much a part of the frozen north as the ice and snow, the mountains and the sea. The little people and nature spirits of the Arctic are a reminder that even in the harshest, most unforgiving places on Earth, there is magic, there is wonder, and there is life. In the dense forests and rolling hills of the southeastern United States, the Cherokee, Choctaw, and Creek tribes spoke of beings that were as old as the land itself. These were the Inuit, the little people who lived in the deep woods, hidden from the eyes of those who did not know where to look. They were small in stature, no taller than a child, but their power was immense, for they were the keepers of the forest, the guardians of the natural world. The Cherokee believed that the Inuit were not just spirits, but a people unto themselves, with their own communities and ways of life. They lived in the mountains and valleys, in the places where the trees grew thick and the streams ran clear. To the Cherokee, these little people were both friends and protectors, often coming to the aid of those who were lost or in need. But they were also fiercely protective of their homes and could be dangerous to those who disrespected the land or the spirits that dwelled within it. The Yunwitsunsti were known to be elusive, rarely seen by human eyes. But their presence was felt in the rustling of leaves, and the sudden stillness of the forest, and the way the animals seemed to move with a purpose that was not their own. They were the spirits of the woods, the embodiment of nature's hidden mysteries. For the Cherokee, these little people were a reminder that the world was full of unseen forces, that the land was alive with spirits who watched over it and cared for it, just as the people did. In the quiet moments of dawn or dusk, when the light was soft and the air was still, the Cherokee would leave offerings for the Yunwitsunsti. A bit of food, a small token of thanks, something to show respect for the little people who watched over the land. In return, the Yunwitsunsti might guide a hunter to a deer or lead a lost traveler back to safety. They were kind and generous to those who honored them, but they could be mischievous or even vengeful to those who did not. The Choctaw spoke of similar beings, the Cowi-Anukasha, or forest dwellers. Like the Yunwitsunsti, the Cowi-Anukasha were small, mysterious beings who lived in the woods. They were known to be helpful to those who treated them with respect, but they could also be tricksters, playing pranks on those who took the forest for granted. The Choctaw believed that the Cowi-Anukasha were deeply connected to the natural world, that they could communicate with the animals and even control the weather. To see one of these little people was a sign that the spirits were watching, that they were aware of the people's presence in the forest and were keeping a close eye on them. The Cowi-Anukasha were also believed to be healers, possessing knowledge of plants and herbs that could cure illnesses or heal wounds. The Choctaw would sometimes seek their help, leaving offerings in the forest and asking for guidance. In return, the Cowi-Anukasha might lead them to a rare plant or give them a sign of where to find what they needed. The Choctaw respected the Cowi-Anukasha, knowing that these little people were the true rulers of the forest, and that to cross them was to risk the wrath of the spirits. For the Creek, the little people were known as the Nunahai, the people who live anywhere. They were said to be able to move through the earth as easily as through the air, appearing and disappearing at will. The Nunahai were protectors of the people, often coming to their aid in times of trouble. They were known to have great strength and could fight off enemies or protect the creek from harm. The Nunahai were also known to be great dancers, often seen dancing in the woods on moonlit nights, their small forms moving gracefully among the trees. The Creek believed that the Nunahai were deeply connected to the land, that they were the spirits of the earth itself. They were believed to live in the mountains, in caves and hidden places where no one could find them. The Nunahai were kind to those who treated the land with respect, but they could be fierce to those who did not. The Creek would leave offerings for the Nunahai, asking for their protection and guidance, knowing that these little people were the guardians of the land and the people who lived on it. The Cherokee, Choctaw, and Creek all shared a deep respect for these little people, understanding that they were not just myths, but a vital part of the natural world. The Yunwitsunsti, Cowi-Anukasha, and Nunahai were all different aspects of the same belief, that the land was alive with spirits, that nature was not just a resource to be used, but a living, breathing entity that deserved respect and care. These fairy-like beings were the embodiment of that belief, the protectors of the land and the people who lived on it. In the southeastern tribe stories, the little people were not just figures of folklore, but teachers, guides, and protectors. They reminded the people of the importance of respect, of the need to care for the land and the spirits that lived within it. The Yunwitsunsti, Cowi-Anukasha, and Nunahai were all part of a world that was rich with mystery and magic, a world where the line between the seen and unseen was thin, where the spirits of the land were ever present, watching over the people and ensuring that the balance between the natural and the supernatural was maintained. The stories of these little people are still told today, passed down through generations as a reminder of the connection between the people and the land. They are tales of wonder and caution, of respect and reverence, and they continue to inspire those who hear them, reminding us all of the magic that still exists in the world, if only we take the time to look for it. In the sun-drenched lands of California, where the ocean meets the sky and the mountains touch the clouds, the Chumash, Miwok, and other tribes whispered of beings that danced on the edges of reality. These creatures were not of flesh and bone but of spirit and light, woven into the very fabric of the natural world. They were the guardians of the land, the keepers of ancient secrets, and they moved through the world with a grace that left those who saw them breathless with wonder. For the Chumash, these beings were the Alchaclash, tiny spirits who lived in the hills and caves, hidden away from the eyes of men. They were said to be no larger than a child's hand, with wings like those of a dragonfly, shimmering in the sunlight. The Alchaclash were playful and mischievous, often leading people astray with their laughter and songs. But they were also kind-hearted, guiding those who were lost and protecting the land from harm. The Chumash believed that the Alchaclash were the children of the Earth Mother, born from the very soil and sky that gave life to all things. In the quiet moments of the early morning, when the mist still clung to the valleys and the world was just beginning to wake, the Alchaclash would come out to play. They would flit between the trees, their wings stirring the air like a soft breeze, their laughter like the tinkling of bells. To see one was to be blessed, for the Alchaclash were said to bring good fortune and happiness to those who treated them with respect. But to anger them was to invite disaster, for they could be fierce in their protection of the land. The Miwok spoke of similar beings, the Wuskin, tiny spirits who lived in the creeks and rivers, and the places where the water ran clear and cold. The Wuskin were believed to be the spirits of the water, born from the tears of the Earth Mother as she wept for her lost children. They were gentle and kind, but they could also be vengeful to those who polluted the waters or harmed the creatures that lived within them. The Miwok would leave offerings of flowers and food by the riverbanks, asking the Wuskin for their protection and guidance. The Wuskin were known to be healers, with the power to cure illnesses and mend broken hearts. The Miwok would often seek their help in times of need, praying to the spirits for a sign or a blessing. In return, the Wuskin might guide them to a hidden spring or show them the way to a rare medicinal plant. The Wuskin were deeply connected to the natural world, and their presence was a reminder that the land and water were alive with spirit, that every tree and rock and stream had its own soul. In the legends of the Pomo people, there were the Kuksu, spirits who could take the form of animals or birds, appearing to people in times of need. The Kuksu were shapeshifters, able to move between the world of humans and the world of spirits with ease. They were believed to be the protectors of the tribe, guiding them in their dreams and visions, showing them the way through the darkness. The Kuksu were wise and powerful, and they were revered by the Pomo as the keepers of ancient knowledge. The Kuksu were also believed to be the creators of the world, shaping the land and sea with their thoughts and dreams. The Pomo would honor them with dances and songs, calling on the spirits to bless the land and protect the people. The Kuksu were seen as the bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds, and their presence was a reminder that the world was full of mystery and magic, that there were forces at work that could not be seen or understood. These fairy-like beings were not just myths or stories, but a vital part of the culture and spirituality of the California tribes. They were the embodiment of the land itself, the spirits that lived within the earth and sky, the water and trees. To the Chumash, Miwok, Pomo, and others, these beings were a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things, of the need to live in harmony with the natural world. They were the keepers of balance, ensuring that the land was respected and cared for, that the spirits of the earth were honored and revered. In the stillness of the night, when the stars shone bright in the sky and the world was hushed and quiet, the people would tell stories of these beings, passing down the tales from generation to generation. These stories were more than just entertainment. They were a way of teaching the young about the importance of respect, of caring for the land and its creatures. They were a way of keeping the spirits alive, of ensuring that the connection between the people and the land was never broken. The fairies of the California tribes were not just figures of folklore, but living, breathing entities that moved through the world with grace and power. They were the protectors of the land, the guardians of the natural world, and their presence was a reminder that the world was full of unseen forces, that the earth itself was alive with spirit. To the Chumash, Miwok, Pomo, and others, these beings were a vital part of their world, a source of wisdom and guidance, a reminder of the magic that still existed in the world. As the people gathered around the fire, telling stories of the Alchaclash, Wuskin, and Kuksu, they were not just keeping the past alive, but ensuring that the future would be filled with the same sense of wonder and respect. They were teaching the young to see the world with open eyes, to recognize the spirits that moved through the land, to honor the earth and all its creatures. The fairies of the California tribes were more than just myths. They were a way of life, a way of seeing the world that was filled with beauty and mystery, a world where the spirits of the earth were always present, always watching, always caring for the land and the people who called it home. In the ancient forests where the trees whispered secrets to those who listened, the Iroquois people spoke of mysterious beings known as the Little People. These were not mere legends, but entities that lived on the edge of sight, in the spaces where the natural world and the spiritual world touched. To the Iroquois, the Little People were not just characters in a story but guardians, healers, and protectors who played an essential role in the balance of life. The Little People were said to be small, no taller than a child's knee, yet their presence was anything but diminutive. They were described as having sharp features, with eyes that gleamed with the wisdom of ages. Their clothes were woven from the fibers of nature itself, soft mosses, delicate leaves, and the finest threads of spider silk. They moved with a grace that was almost otherworldly, their footsteps leaving no trace on the ground, their voices soft as the wind. Among the Iroquois, it was believed that the Little People had the power to bring both good fortune and mischief. They were known to help those who treated the earth with respect, offering guidance in times of need. A hunter who respected the forest, who took only what was necessary and gave thanks for the life taken, might find his path blessed by the Little People. They would leave signs, an arrowhead gleaming in the underbrush, a clear trail through the thickest woods. These were gifts, tokens of their approval. But the Little People were not to be trifled with. They were quick to anger if disrespected, and their retribution could be swift. Those who polluted the waters, who harmed the creatures of the forest, or who failed to honor the earth could find themselves lost in the woods, with no way home. The Little People might play tricks, leading the offender in circles until exhaustion set in, or they might whisper doubts and fears into the heart, leaving the person confused and afraid. These acts were not born of cruelty but of a deep sense of justice. The Little People were the enforcers of natural law, ensuring that the balance between humans and the earth was maintained. In the stories passed down through generations, the Little People were also healers. They knew the secrets of the plants, the hidden powers within roots and leaves, and they used this knowledge to help those in need. The Iroquois would often leave offerings at the entrance of caves or by ancient trees, gifts of tobacco, food, or small handmade items, asking the Little People for their healing touch. It was said that the Little People could cure illnesses that no human medicine could touch, that they could mend not just the body but the spirit as well. One of the most cherished stories told by the Iroquois was that of a young girl who had fallen gravely ill. Her family had tried every remedy known to them, but nothing seemed to help. Desperate, they went to the elders, who advised them to seek the help of the Little People. The family, filled with hope, prepared an offering and placed it by an ancient oak tree known to be a dwelling place of the Little People. That night, as the family slept, the Little People came. They were seen only by the girl, who, in her fevered state, watched as they moved silently through the room, their small hands glowing with a soft, warm light. They touched her forehead, her heart, and her hands, and she felt a coolness spread through her body, easing her pain. By morning, the fever had broken, and the girl was on the path to recovery. The family knew that the Little People had answered their prayers. The significance of the Little People in Iroquois culture went beyond their physical presence. They were symbols of the connection between the human and natural worlds, a reminder that life was a delicate balance that needed constant care and respect. The Iroquois taught their children to be mindful of the Little People, to treat the earth with reverence, and to always remember that there were forces at work in the world that could not be seen but were always present. The Little People were also believed to be the keepers of ancient knowledge. It was said that they remembered the world as it was in the beginning, before humans forgot the old ways. They knew the songs that called the rain, the dances that brought the harvest, and the stories that held the wisdom of the ages. The Iroquois would sometimes hear these songs carried on the wind, or see the faint outlines of a dance in the flickering light of a fire, and they would know that the little people were near, sharing their wisdom with those who were willing to listen. But for all their power and knowledge, the little people were also playful and full of joy. They were known to dance in the moonlight, their laughter ringing through the trees like the sweetest music. Those lucky enough to stumble upon one of these gatherings would find themselves filled with a sense of peace and happiness that lingered long after the little people had vanished into the shadows. These moments were rare, and those who experienced them often kept them close to their hearts, a secret joy that they would carry with them for the rest of their lives. The stories of the little people were more than just tales, they were a way of life. They taught the Iroquois to live in harmony with the earth, to respect the unseen forces that shaped their world, and to remember that there was magic in every leaf, every stone, every breath of wind. The little people were a reminder that the world was alive with spirit, that there was more to life than what could be seen with the eyes, and that the bonds between humans and nature were sacred and unbreakable. In the quiet moments, when the forest was still and the only sound was the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the Iroquois would speak of the little people with a mixture of reverence and affection. They were not just characters in a story, but real and powerful beings who walked beside them, guiding them, protecting them, and reminding them of the wonder and mystery of the world they lived in. In the dense forests and along the winding rivers where the Cree people made their homes, there were whispers of small, elusive beings known as the Managishi. These creatures were not the gentle, helpful spirits that one might hope to encounter. No, the Managishi were tricksters, beings with a mischievous streak that could turn a peaceful day into a whirlwind of confusion and laughter, or terror. The Managishi were said to be small, human-like creatures with large heads, long arms, and nimble fingers that could grasp onto anything. Their eyes sparkled with a cunning light, always on the lookout for the next bit of mischief. They lived in the rocks near swift-running rivers, hidden away in places where only the daring or the foolish would venture. It was said that they could disappear in the blink of an eye, melting into the landscape as if they were part of it all along. To the Cree, the Managishi embodied the unpredictable nature of the world. They were a reminder that life was not always serious or straightforward, that sometimes it was playful, tricky, and full of surprises. The Managishi would steal fish right off a line, tangle a hunter's nets, or rearrange tools and belongings just to watch the confusion unfold. They found joy in the bewilderment of humans, and the way people would scratch their heads and wonder what had just happened. But their tricks were never meant to harm, only to amuse, or perhaps to teach a lesson to those who had grown too comfortable, too certain in their ways. There is a tale among the Cree of a young fisherman, eager to prove his skill, who ventured out alone to the river known to be home to the Managishi. He was determined to catch the biggest fish and return a hero. As he cast his line, the forest around him grew still, as if holding its breath. Hours passed, and not a single fish bit. Frustration gnawed at him, and he began to mutter under his breath about the uselessness of the day, about how the river must be cursed. The Managishi, watching from the rocks, decided it was time for a bit of fun. With their sly grins, they crept close and began their game. First, they tugged gently at his line, making it twitch as if a fish were nibbling. The fisherman, eyes wide with excitement, jerked his pole, but there was nothing there. Again and again, they repeated the trick, each time with the same result. The young man's hope turned to irritation, then to anger. He cursed the river, the fish, and the spirits he believed were mocking him. Finally, in a fit of rage, he hurled his fishing rod into the water and stormed away. As soon as he was out of sight, the Managishi burst into silent laughter, their small bodies shaking with glee. They had no need for the fisherman's rod. They were amused by his impatience, by the way his pride had led him to forget the respect and humility that the Cree people were taught to show to the natural world. The fisherman had been so focused on proving his worth that he had forgotten to appreciate the quiet beauty of the river, the joy of simply being part of the world around him. But the Managishi were not always content with small tricks. Sometimes, they would band together to create more elaborate pranks, ones that would be talked about for generations. There was a story of a group of hunters who, after a successful day, decided to set up camp by a river. As they slept, the Managishi set to work, moving their belongings just out of reach, tying knots in their fishing lines, and hiding their weapons in the most unlikely places. When the hunters awoke, they were met with utter chaos. Their careful preparations had been undone, their camp turned into a baffling puzzle. The hunters, though wary of the Managishi's tricks, could not help but laugh. They knew they had been outwitted by the clever creatures, and they accepted it with good humor. After all, the Managishi's antics were a reminder that no matter how skilled or experienced one might be, there was always something, or someone, ready to turn the world upside down. It was a lesson in humility, in the importance of not taking oneself too seriously. Yet, for all their mischief, the Managishi were also protectors of the land. They cared deeply for the rivers, the forests, and the creatures that lived within them. They used their tricks not just to amuse themselves, but to keep balance in the world. If a fisherman took more than his share, the Managishi would make sure his nets came up empty. If a hunter disrespected the animals he pursued, he might find himself led astray, wandering through the woods until he remembered to show gratitude for the gifts he had been given. In this way, the Managishi were more than just tricksters, they were guardians, ensuring that the Cree people remained connected to the land, aware of the delicate balance that sustained all life. Their pranks were not merely for fun, they were reminders of the unseen forces at work in the world, forces that demanded respect and reverence. The Managishi's presence in Cree mythology is a testament to the richness of Cree culture, to the way it weaves together the mundane and the magical, the serious and the playful. The Managishi are not distant, fearsome spirits, but familiar, almost friendly figures who keep the world lively and unpredictable. They are a reminder that even in the quietest moments, the world is full of wonder and mystery, that the line between the natural and the supernatural is not as clear as it might seem. And so, the stories of the Managishi continue to be told, passed down from generation to generation. They are shared around campfires, whispered to children before they sleep, and remembered by those who find themselves alone by a river, feeling the eyes of unseen watchers, waiting for the next trick. In these stories, the Managishi live on, forever playing their pranks, forever reminding the Cree people of the joy, the laughter, and the lessons hidden in the world around them. In the heart of the Cherokee lands, nestled among the rolling hills and ancient forests, there are stories of beings who walk quietly among the trees. They are the Nunahai, the gentle guardians of the land, who have watched over the Cherokee people for as long as anyone can remember. These beings, often described as fairy-like, are not just figures of legend, they are woven into the very fabric of the land, living embodiments of its spirit and its power. The Nunahai are said to be kind and benevolent, always ready to help those in need. They move like shadows, almost invisible to the human eye, yet their presence can be felt in the rustling leaves, the whispering winds, and the stillness that settles over the forest at dusk. They are protectors, watching over the Cherokee people with a love that is as ancient as the mountains themselves. It is said that the Nunahai live in great, hidden towns beneath the ground or within the mountains. These towns are places of peace, filled with music and laughter, where the Nunahai dwell in harmony with the earth. To stumble upon one of these places is a rare and precious gift, for the Nunahai do not reveal themselves to just anyone. Only those who are pure of heart and spirit may catch a glimpse of their world, a world where the natural and the supernatural are one and the same. One story tells of a Cherokee warrior who, weary from battle, found himself lost in the mountains. He was tired and wounded, with little hope of finding his way home. As he stumbled through the forest, he felt a gentle hand on his shoulder. Turning, he saw a figure standing before him, a being of light and warmth, with eyes that seemed to hold all the wisdom of the earth. The figure spoke no words, but the warrior understood that he was in the presence of a Nunahai. Without hesitation, the Nunahai led the warrior to a hidden cave, deep within the mountain. Inside, the air was cool and filled with the scent of pine and earth. There, in the heart of the mountain, the Nunahai tended to his wounds, feeding him with food that seemed to have been gathered from the very essence of the land. The warrior felt his strength returning, his pain easing, as the Nunahai cared for him with a tenderness that he had never known. When the warrior was healed, the Nunahai guided him back to the edge of the forest, pointing the way to his village. The warrior turned to thank the Nunahai, But the being had already disappeared, leaving behind only the soft rustle of leaves and the faint echo of a song carried on the wind. The warrior returned to his people, forever changed by the encounter. He spoke of the Nunahai with reverence, knowing that they were more than just guardians. They were the soul of the land itself, living spirits who walked among the Cherokee, unseen but always present. The Nunahai are not just healers, they are also warriors, fiercely protective of the land and its people. In times of great danger, when the Cherokee were threatened by enemies or natural disasters, the Nunahai would rise up to defend them. There are stories of battles where the Nunahai appeared out of nowhere, their forms shimmering in the sunlight, to drive away those who would harm the land or its inhabitants. They fought not with weapons of steel, but with the power of the earth itself, wielding the elements as their allies. In one such tale, a great storm was brewing on the horizon, threatening to destroy a Cherokee village. The people could see the dark clouds rolling in, feel the earth trembling beneath their feet. They knew that the storm was no ordinary one. It was something more, something filled with a malevolent force that sought to tear the world apart. The village elders prayed to the Nunahai, asking for their protection, and their prayers were answered. As the storm approached, the Nunahai appeared, their forms glowing with an inner light. They stood at the edge of the village, facing the storm, and raised their hands to the sky. The winds howled, the rain poured down in torrents, but the Nunahai stood firm. With a great cry, they called upon the spirits of the earth and the sky, and the storm began to weaken. The winds died down, the rain lessened, and soon the storm had dissipated, leaving the village untouched. The Nunahai had saved the people once again, and the villagers rejoiced, knowing that they were under the protection of the most powerful and benevolent beings of all. But the Nunahai's connection to the land goes beyond protection and healing. They are also teachers, guiding the Cherokee in the ways of the earth, showing them how to live in harmony with nature. They teach that the land is sacred, that every tree, every river, every mountain is alive with spirit. The Nunahai remind the Cherokee that they are not separate from the world around them, but part of it, and that to harm the land is to harm themselves. The Nunahai's teachings are passed down through generations, woven into the songs, stories, and dances of the Cherokee people. They are a constant reminder of the deep bond between the Cherokee and their land, a bond that is honored and respected above all else. The Nunahai teach that the land is not just a place to live, but a living, breathing entity that must be cared for and protected. To the Cherokee, the Nunahai are more than just legends. They are real, living beings who walk among them, guiding, protecting, and teaching them. They are the heart of the land, the spirit of the earth, and the guardians of all that is sacred. The Nunahai's presence is felt in every aspect of Cherokee life, from the way they honor the land to the way they care for each other. In every rustle of leaves, and every whisper of the wind, the Nunahai are there, watching over their people with love and care. They are the unseen guardians, the benevolent spirits who ensure that the land remains strong, the people remain safe, and the bond between them remains unbroken. The Nunahai are more than just fairy-like beings. They are the very soul of the Cherokee, a symbol of the enduring connection between the people and the land they call home. In the heart of the Totonac lands, where the forests breathe with life and ancient whispers fill the air, the Chineks dwell. These small, spirited beings are woven into the very fabric of the forest, protectors of the land, and guardians of nature's secrets. Their presence is felt rather than seen, a subtle shift in the wind, a rustle in the leaves, or a shadow flickering at the edge of your vision. The Chineks are as much a part of the forest as the towering trees and the soft earth beneath them. The Totonac people speak of the Chineks with a mixture of reverence and caution. These spirits are known to be mischievous, playing tricks on those who wander too far into their domain. But their mischief is not born of malice. It is a reminder that the forest is sacred, a living entity that demands respect. Those who disrespect the land may find themselves lost, disoriented by the Chineks' playful illusions. Paths that once seemed familiar twist and turn, leading deeper into the woods, away from safety. Yet, the Chineks are also benevolent, caring for the forest and those who honor it. They nurture the plants, ensuring that the forest remains lush and vibrant, full of life. The Totonac people believe that the Chineks protect the animals, guiding them through the woods and helping them find food and shelter. In times of drought or hardship, it is said that the Shineks work tirelessly to sustain the forest, bringing rain to nourish the plants and filling the rivers with water once more. The Shineks are not merely spirits of the land, they are the embodiment of the forest itself. To see a Shinek, it is said, is to glimpse the soul of the forest, a rare and magical experience that only the pure of heart may witness. Those who are fortunate enough to encounter a Shinek are forever changed, carrying with them a piece of the forest's magic wherever they go. But the Shineks are not easily seen. They are small, often described as childlike in appearance, with mischievous eyes and quick, nimble movements. They move silently through the trees, their presence announced only by the soft rustling of leaves or the distant sound of laughter. Some say they wear clothes made of leaves and moss, blending seamlessly with their surroundings. Others believe they can change their shape at will, appearing as animals, plants, or even other humans to avoid detection. The Totonac people believe that the Shineks can be both helpful and harmful, depending on how they are treated. To gain the favor of a Shinek, one must show respect for the forest and its inhabitants. Offering food or small tokens of appreciation can appease the Shineks, ensuring their protection and guidance through the woods. However, those who take from the forest without giving back, or who harm the land, may find themselves on the receiving end of a Shinek's tricks. There are many stories of people who have encountered the Shineks, some filled with wonder, others with cautionary lessons. One such tale tells of a young hunter who ventured into the forest, eager to prove his skill. He hunted without regard for the animals, taking more than he needed and leaving the carcasses to rot. As he continued deeper into the woods, he began to notice strange things. The trees seemed to close in around him, and the path he had followed so easily now twisted and turned in unfamiliar ways. The hunter realized too late that he had angered the Shineks, who were leading him astray as punishment for his greed. Lost and alone, the hunter wandered the forest for days, his cries for help swallowed by the trees. It was only when he stopped to rest, offering a silent apology to the Shineks, that the forest seemed to shift around him. The trees parted, revealing a clear path home, and the hunter never again disrespected the forest. Another story tells of a young girl who ventured into the woods to gather herbs for her ailing mother. As she carefully selected the plants, she noticed a small figure watching her from the shadows. It was a Shinek, its eyes bright with curiosity. The girl, remembering her mother's teachings, offered a small portion of her harvest to the Shinek, thanking it for allowing her to gather the herbs. The Shinek accepted the gift with a nod and disappeared into the trees. When the girl returned home, she found that the herbs she had gathered were more potent than usual, healing her mother in no time. From that day on, the girl always made sure to leave a gift for the Shineks whenever she entered the forest, and they, in turn, guided her to the best plants and protected her from harm. The Shineks are more than just mythical beings, they are a reminder of the delicate balance between humans and nature. The Totonac people understand that the forest is not something to be tamed or conquered but respected and cared for. The Shineks embody this belief, their mischievous natures serving as both a warning and a blessing to those who enter their domain. To the Totonac people, the Shineks are a symbol of the forest's enduring spirit, a reminder that the land is alive, full of magic and mystery. They are the guardians of the woods, protectors of the natural world, and guides to those who seek to understand the forest's secrets. The stories of the Shineks have been passed down through generations, a testament to the enduring bond between the Totonac people and the land they call home. In the quiet moments of the forest, when the wind whispers through the trees and the shadows dance on the ground, the Shineks are there, watching, waiting, and protecting the land they love. Their presence is felt in every rustling leaf, every babbling brook, a gentle reminder that the forest is a sacred place, full of life and wonder. The Shineks are the heart of the forest, their spirits intertwined with the very essence of the land, forever watching over the Totonac people and the world they hold dear. In the dense forests and foggy hills of the Wampanoag territory, shadows play tricks on the eyes, and whispers of the wind carry ancient tales of the Pukwudgies. These beings are not the gentle fairies of popular lore, but are mysterious and often malevolent creatures known for their trickery and dangerous nature. The Pukwudgies are small, elusive figures, standing no taller than a few feet, with pointed ears, sharp eyes, and a grin that hides secrets and mischief. Imagine wandering through the dark, wooded trails of Wampanoag lands. The trees seem to lean closer, and the air grows heavier with every step. Suddenly, a chilling laugh echoes through the forest. It's a sound that makes your skin crawl, a reminder that you are not alone. The Pukwudgies are near. Known for their cunning and their ability to vanish and reappear at will, these creatures can make even the most familiar paths turn treacherous. They are masters of illusion, capable of leading travelers astray with deceptive paths or causing them to lose their way completely. These creatures have been a source of fear and respect among the Wampanoag people for centuries. Unlike the playful spirits of other cultures, Pukwudgies are often seen as a warning. They embody the unpredictable and sometimes harsh nature of the world. Their behavior reflects the belief that nature is both beautiful and dangerous, and that humans must always approach it with respect and caution. One tale that has been passed down through generations speaks of a young hunter who ventured too far into the forest, driven by ambition and the desire to prove his bravery. As he walked deeper into the woods, he began to hear faint, mocking laughter. The sound seemed to come from all directions, confusing him and leading him further from his intended path. The hunter grew anxious, realizing that the forest around him was shifting, the trees rearranging themselves as though the forest itself was alive and conspiring against him. The hunter eventually stumbled upon a clearing, where he saw what he thought was a group of his friends waiting for him. Eager to rejoin them, he hurried forward, only to find himself falling into a hidden pit. He was trapped, and as he looked up, he saw the figures in the clearing were not his friends, but the Pukwudgies, grinning with malevolent delight. They danced around the edge of the pit, their laughter echoing off the walls, and the hunter understood too late the price of his hubris. The Pukwudgies' trick had taught him a hard lesson about humility and respect for the forest. Another chilling story tells of a family who lived near the edge of the forest. They had always respected the land and never ventured too deeply into the woods. One day, their youngest child went missing. Desperate, the family searched high and low but found no trace of the child. The village elders, familiar with the ways of the Pukwudgies, knew that these creatures were known to steal children. The family performed traditional rituals to appease the Pukwudgies, hoping to negotiate the return of their child. After several days of heart-wrenching anguish, the child was found unharmed but deeply frightened. They spoke of a strange, small figure that had taken them to a hidden part of the forest. The Pukwudgies had kept the child safe but had played tricks to scare them, teaching them about the power and unpredictability of the forest. The family learned that the Pukwudgies' actions were not purely malicious but were also a form of ancient, untamed teaching. The Pukwudgies are often depicted with a blend of features that make them both intriguing and frightening. They have a strange, almost otherworldly appearance, with sharp features that make them seem both mystical and eerie. Their eyes can glow in the dark, piercing through the shadows and unsettling anyone who meets their gaze. Their small size belies their significant impact on the lives of those who encounter them. Despite their fearsome reputation, the Pukwudgies are also a reminder of the respect that must be shown towards the unknown. They are a symbol of the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of human understanding. Their presence in Wampanoag folklore serves as a reminder that the world is full of forces beyond our control, and that the natural world, while beautiful, can also be dangerous. To encounter a Pukwudgie is to confront the raw, untamed aspects of nature. These creatures are not just figments of old tales but are part of a living tradition that teaches respect, humility, and the recognition of the power that lies within the world around us. The Pukwudgie stories continue to haunt and captivate, reminding the Wampanoag people and all who hear their tales of the delicate balance between humanity and the wild, untamed forces of nature. On the quiet shores of the Ojibwe Lakes, where the moonlight dances on the water, legends speak of the Mimigwizi. These are not ordinary beings but water spirits that live beneath the surface, hiding from the eyes of most, but never far from the minds of those who know their tales. The Mimigwizi are small, dwarf-like creatures with faces that seem both wise and ancient. They are guardians of the water, holding secrets of the deep and the power to both bless and curse those who come near their realm. To hear the stories of the Mimigwizi is to feel the chill of the water's edge, to hear the soft rustle of reeds as something unseen moves beneath. They are said to be as old as the lakes themselves, their laughter and whispers echoing through the ripples of the water. Their small size belies a great power, and their presence is both enchanting and unnerving. One story tells of a young girl from an Ojibwe village who went to fetch water from a lake during a quiet, moonlit night. The air was still, and the only sound was the gentle lapping of the water against the shore. As she approached the water's edge, she noticed a strange glow emanating from the lake's depths. Mesmerized, she peered into the water and saw the Mimigwizi staring back at her with eyes that sparkled like the stars. The Mimigwizi, curious about this intruder, began to play tricks on her. They created illusions, making the water appear to shimmer and swirl in impossible patterns. The girl, both frightened and fascinated, watched as the water spirits began to dance beneath the surface, their movements graceful and fluid. Their laughter, though soft, was filled with a strange, enchanting melody that seemed to pull at her very soul. As she stood there, entranced, one of the Mimigwizi appeared at the water's edge, not far from where she stood. Its small, wrinkled face held a gentle smile, and it beckoned her to come closer. The girl hesitated, knowing that the stories spoke of the Mimigwizi as unpredictable and sometimes dangerous. But the allure of their presence was too strong. When she finally approached, the Mimigwizi spoke in a voice that was both kind and mysterious, offering her a gift from the water, an iridescent stone that seemed to glow with an inner light. The girl accepted the gift with trembling hands, and as she turned to leave, she felt a deep sense of peace and wonder. The Mimigwizi had shown her a glimpse of their hidden world, and in return, they had given her a token of their magic. As the girl left the lake, she felt a change within herself. She could hear the whispers of the water spirits, even when they were not near. The stone she carried was said to have the power to grant visions and to connect the bearer with the spirits of the water. She learned to respect and honor the Mimigwizi, understanding that they were not to be feared but to be revered for their ancient wisdom and their role as keepers of the water. Another tale speaks of a time when the Mimigwizi were angered by the actions of a local fisherman who took more than he needed from the lake. The Mimigwizi, displeased with his greed, began to play tricks on him. They caused his nets to tangle and his boat to drift aimlessly. The fisherman, frustrated and bewildered, could not understand why his once bountiful catches had turned into empty nets. Desperate, he sought the advice of a wise elder, who told him of the Mimigwizi and their deep connection to the waters. The elder explained that the Mimigwizi were protectors, and their displeasure meant that the balance of the lake had been disturbed. The fisherman was advised to make amends and to offer a respectful tribute to the spirits of the water. The fisherman followed the elder's guidance, performing a ritual of apology and respect at the lake's edge. He offered gifts of tobacco and kind words, acknowledging the Mimigwizi as guardians of the waters. Gradually, the Mimigwizi's anger subsided, and the fisherman found that his catches began to improve once more. He learned that the waters were a living, breathing entity, and that to take from it was to also give back in respect and gratitude. These stories of the Mimigwizi are more than just tales, they are a reflection of the Ojibwe people's deep connection to the natural world. The Mimigwizi remind them of the delicate balance between humans and nature, and of the respect that must be shown to the spirits that inhabit their world. The Mimigwizi are small in stature but mighty in their influence, serving as a reminder of the power and mystery that lies beneath the surface of the water. In the quiet moments, when the moonlight touches the surface of the lake and the water spirits stir, the Mimigwizi continue their ancient dance, weaving their magic into the very fabric of the Ojibwe folklore. They are a testament to the enchantment that lies just out of sight, and to the respect that is required to honor the spirits of the natural world. In the heart of Catawba territory, where the trees whisper old secrets and the streams murmur soft lullabies, there exists a world of small, mischievous beings known as the ethereal. These tiny fairies, no bigger than a child's hand, are as elusive as they are enchanting. With their playful pranks and elusive nature, they weave a tapestry of mystery and magic into the fabric of Catawba folklore. The ethereal are often described as having delicate wings that shimmer in the dappled sunlight, almost as if woven from the very fabric of nature itself. Their eyes, bright and twinkling with mischief, are said to hold a spark of ancient wisdom, hinting at their deep connection to the world around them. Their laughter, high and tinkling like the chime of a distant bell, can be heard fluttering through the forest, leaving a trail of wonder in its wake. One story that captures the essence of the Ihasuri is the tale of a young Catawba girl named Amani. One summer evening, as Amani was wandering through the forest, she stumbled upon a circle of glowing mushrooms. Intrigued by their ethereal light, she stepped closer and noticed that the mushrooms seemed to be arranged in a perfect ring, as if inviting her into a secret gathering. As Amani approached, the air grew cooler, and she could feel a faint, magical hum surrounding her. The Ihasuri, hidden just beyond the reach of her sight, began their playful antics. They turned the mushrooms into a flickering dance of light and shadow, making them appear to move and shift with a life of their own. Amani, mesmerized by the spectacle, felt a strange mixture of fear and excitement. She had heard tales of the Ihasuri and their trickery, but had never imagined encountering them. The little fairies, sensing her awe and curiosity, decided to reveal themselves. They emerged from their hiding places, their tiny forms fluttering about in a dazzling display of color and light. Amani watched, spellbound, as they danced around her, their laughter mingling with the rustle of leaves and the whisper of the wind. Their movements were so graceful and fluid that it seemed as if they were part of the very essence of the forest. One Ihasuri, more daring than the rest, hovered close to Amani and whispered in a voice that sounded like the soft rustling of leaves, "You have shown us your heart's true wonder. We will grant you a gift, but remember, our magic is as fleeting as the moonlight." In a flurry of glittering light, the Ihasuri bestowed upon Amani a small, iridescent pebble. The pebble seemed to pulse with a gentle glow, and as she held it in her hand, Amani felt a surge of warmth and joy. The Ihasuri's gift was a token of their favor, a symbol of the magic that wove through the world. The Ihasuri's gift came with a warning: never use the pebble for selfish purposes, and always honor the magic of the forest. Amani promised to respect their gift, and, with a final burst of laughter and light, the Ihasuri vanished into the shadows of the trees. From that day on, Amani carried the pebble with her, feeling its gentle warmth as a reminder of the Ihasuri's presence. She learned to see the magic in everyday life, to notice the small wonders that often went unnoticed. The pebble became a symbol of her connection to the forest and its mysterious inhabitants, and it served as a reminder of the playful, enigmatic nature of the Ihasuri. Another tale tells of a mischievous trick played by the Ihasuri on a group of hunters. The hunters, who were known for their skill and precision, found themselves repeatedly led astray by phantom trails and false signs. Their frustration grew as they wandered through the forest, unable to find their way back or locate their quarry. The Ihasuri, having grown bored with their antics, decided to teach the hunters a lesson in humility. They used their magic to create illusions that led the hunters in circles, making it seem as if the forest itself were mocking their efforts. The hunters, exhausted and bewildered, eventually sat down to rest, their pride bruised by their inability to succeed. As they rested, the Ihasuri revealed themselves, their laughter echoing through the trees. They explained that their trickery was meant to remind the hunters of the importance of humility and respect for the natural world. The hunters, though initially angry, came to understand the lesson behind the Ihasuri's mischief. They offered a token of their respect to the fairies and learned to approach their pursuits with a renewed sense of wonder and gratitude. The Ihasuri, with their small size and mischievous ways, embody a deep connection to the natural world and the magic that flows through it. They remind the Catawba people of the importance of humility, respect, and the joy of discovering the enchantment hidden in the everyday. Their presence, though fleeting and elusive, leaves a lasting impression on those who encounter them, weaving their magic into the heart of Catawba folklore. On the frozen edges of the Algonquian world, where the biting cold can pierce through even the thickest layers of fur, there are whispers of a chilling presence, the Wetiko. These eerie, fairy-like beings are wrapped in the darkness of winter and hunger, their tales as haunting as the long, cold nights. The Wetiko are not the friendly spirits of the forest, but are instead creatures of cold and despair. Described as gaunt and ghostly, their bodies are said to be emaciated, their skin stretched tight over skeletal frames. Their eyes, hollow and cold, reflect the harshness of the frozen landscapes they inhabit. They are spirits of hunger, driven by an insatiable appetite that mirrors the endless void of winter. One story tells of a small Algonquian village, nestled in a valley surrounded by towering, snow-covered peaks. The villagers, hardy and strong, had prepared for the harsh winter months, storing food and supplies to last through the long season. Yet, as the cold set in, they began to notice strange signs, footprints in the snow that led to nowhere, and the eerie, distant sound of mournful wailing carried by the wind. One night, as the village lay wrapped in the thick silence of a deep snowfall, a shadowy figure appeared at the edge of the village. It was a Wetiko, its presence marked by an icy chill that seemed to freeze the very breath of those who saw it. The Wetiko was a figure of dreadful beauty, its gaunt form illuminated by the pale light of the moon. It moved with an unsettling grace, gliding silently over the snow. The villagers, sensing the danger, gathered around their fires, their hearts heavy with fear. They knew the Wetiko's hunger was not for ordinary food but for something far more sinister, life itself. The Wetiko, driven by its relentless appetite, would drain the warmth and vitality from anything it touched. As the Wetiko approached the village, it began to cast its icy gaze over their supplies. The food, once carefully stored, began to freeze and spoil, becoming inedible. The villagers, realizing what was happening, banded together to protect their remaining resources. They lit more fires and gathered around them, hoping the warmth and light would keep the Wetiko at bay. But the Wetiko was relentless. It moved among them, its presence a shadow that made the cold feel even more biting and unbearable. One by one, the villagers fell ill, their bodies growing weak from the cold and the terror that the Wetiko instilled. The once vibrant village seemed to be fading under the weight of the Wetiko's hunger. In their darkest hour, an elder of the village, wise and deeply connected to the spirit world, decided to confront the Wetiko. Armed with only the strength of his spirit and the power of ancient songs, he ventured out into the cold night, seeking the heart of the Wetiko's darkness. The elder sang a song of warmth and light, a powerful incantation meant to drive away the cold and bring back the hope that had been lost. The Wetiko, hearing the elder's song, seemed to pause, its form wavering like a mirage in the moonlight. The air around it shimmered, and for a moment, it seemed as if the icy grip of winter might be loosening. The elder continued to sing, his voice carrying through the stillness of the night, a beacon of defiance against the Wetiko's hunger. The battle between the elder's song and the Wetiko's cold was fierce and unyielding. As the elder's voice grew stronger, the Wetiko's form began to fade, its icy presence melting away under the force of the warmth and light. The village, though battered and weakened, began to feel the first hints of hope returning as the Wetiko retreated into the shadows of the forest. The villagers, though saved from the immediate threat, were left with a lingering reminder of the Wetiko's cold embrace. They knew that the Wetiko's hunger was not just a physical threat but a spiritual one, a reminder of the deep and consuming darkness that could take hold in the coldest of times. The story of the Wetiko became a cautionary tale for the Algonquian peoples, a reminder of the dangers that lurked in the cold and the importance of community and spirit in the face of such darkness. The Wetiko, with its icy heart and relentless hunger, remains a chilling figure in their folklore, embodying the harsh reality of winter and the indomitable spirit needed to overcome it. In the hush of a quiet forest, where the first light of dawn filters through the canopy, there exists a world where nature and spirit intertwine seamlessly. Fairy-like beings, often hidden from plain view, serve as guardians and embodiments of the natural world, their presence as vital and mysterious as the whispering leaves and the gentle murmur of the streams. These ethereal entities are not just mere figments of imagination, but are seen as the very essence of the land they protect. In the heart of the woods, where every rustle of the leaves seems to carry a secret message, the fairies take on roles that are both nurturing and vigilant. They are the keepers of the forest, the protectors of the delicate balance between life and the wild. One evening, as the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, a young child wandered into the forest. The child, lost in wonder at the beauty of the woods, failed to notice the subtle shifts in the atmosphere around them. Unseen by human eyes, tiny beings flitted through the undergrowth, their delicate wings shimmering in the fading light. These were the fairies of the forest, their every movement orchestrated to maintain harmony and balance. The child wandered deeper, their path becoming less clear. The fairies, sensing the disturbance, gathered around. Their role was not to frighten but to guide and protect. As the darkness began to close in, the air grew cooler and shadows lengthened. The fairies, with their gentle glow, started to light up the path ahead, leading the child safely back to where the forest met the open fields. These fairies are more than just protectors, they are living symbols of the nature they embody. They whisper to the trees, encouraging their growth. They dance on the petals of flowers, ensuring they bloom with vibrant colors. They play in the streams, keeping the water clean and pure. Each action, though seemingly small, is a thread in the intricate tapestry of nature, woven with care and precision. In another part of the world, a vast desert stretches under the blazing sun. Here, the fairies are less visible but no less significant. They are the guardians of the desert's life-giving oases, ensuring that the scarce water remains a source of life for the creatures that inhabit the arid landscape. As the sun sets and the temperature drops, the fairies come out, their tiny forms glowing softly against the darkness. They spread their essence over the land, nourishing the plants and ensuring the survival of the delicate balance in this harsh environment. These beings are often seen as spirits of nature, with their lives intricately tied to the cycles of the earth. They embody the essence of the natural world in ways that humans can only partially understand. Their existence is a reminder of the beauty and fragility of nature, and their actions are a testament to the importance of maintaining balance. In the serene beauty of a mountain meadow, the fairies perform their delicate duties. Here, they ensure that the flowers bloom in vibrant colors and that the mountain streams run clear and pure. They encourage the growth of the grass and the health of the animals that call the meadow home. When a storm approaches, the fairies gather to shield the meadow from the harsh winds and heavy rains, ensuring that the delicate ecosystem remains intact. The connection between these fairy-like beings and the natural world is profound. They are not separate from nature but are a part of it, living and breathing in harmony with the earth. Their presence is felt in the rustling of the leaves, the sparkle of dew on a spider's web, and the gentle murmur of the wind through the trees. They are the guardians of the earth's delicate balance, ensuring that every aspect of the natural world continues to thrive. Their role is not just about protection but also about embodiment. The fairies represent the very spirit of the natural world, a living, breathing reflection of the earth's beauty and vitality. They are the embodiment of nature's resilience and its capacity for renewal, reminding us of the importance of living in harmony with the world around us. In every corner of the earth, from the densest forest to the most barren desert, fairy-like beings play a crucial role. They are the unseen caretakers, the silent watchers over the land, and the gentle guides that lead lost souls back to safety. Their presence, though often hidden, is a testament to the deep connection between humanity and the natural world. As night falls and the stars begin to twinkle, the fairies continue their work, their delicate forms blending with the shadows and light. They are a reminder of the magic that exists in the natural world, a magic that is both wondrous and vital. Through their guardianship, the balance of nature is maintained, and the beauty of the world continues to shine, untouched by the passage of time. In the hushed corners of the world, where the air is thick with reverence and the ground holds ancient whispers, fairies play a profound role. These ethereal guardians protect sacred spaces, burial grounds, and spiritual sites with a devotion that is both mysterious and touching. Their presence is felt in the subtle, almost imperceptible ways they safeguard the sanctity of these revered places. At the edge of a secluded forest, a centuries-old burial ground rests quietly, surrounded by towering trees that have stood watch for generations. The ground here is more than just soil, it is a living testament to the lives that once were. It is a place where memories and spirits intertwine, a sacred space where the past and present meet. As twilight descends, a soft glow begins to emanate from the heart of the forest. Tiny flickers of light dance among the shadows, and the air seems to hum with an almost imperceptible melody. These are the fairies, their delicate forms barely visible, yet their presence is unmistakable. They are the silent guardians of this sacred ground, their purpose clear and solemn. The fairies move with a grace that belies their small size. They flit between the ancient trees and over the resting places, their soft glow casting a protective light over the burial ground. They are there to honor and preserve the peace of the space, ensuring that the spirits who rest here remain undisturbed and revered. Their presence is a promise that this sacred ground will remain a place of respect and tranquility, untouched by the intrusion of the living world. In another part of the world, a sacred site is nestled in a remote mountain valley. The site is a place of pilgrimage, a location where people come to seek guidance and connect with the divine. The fairies here are equally dedicated to their role. They guard the entrance to the site, their ethereal forms blending seamlessly with the mist that clings to the mountain slopes. Visitors who come to the site feel an almost tangible shift in the atmosphere as they approach. The fairies, with their gentle and watchful eyes, ensure that only those who come with pure intentions and a respectful heart are allowed to enter. They weave their magic into the very fabric of the site, creating an environment that fosters spiritual reflection and connection. The fairies' role as guardians extends beyond mere protection. They are also custodians of the site's spiritual energy. They maintain the balance of the site's aura, ensuring that the space remains a powerful conduit for spiritual experiences. They tend to the natural elements that surround the site, nurturing the growth of sacred plants and ensuring that the land remains vibrant and welcoming. In the heart of an ancient city, there lies an old, forgotten chapel. Its walls, though weathered, still hold the echoes of prayers and the whispers of countless visitors. The fairies here are the keepers of the chapel's spiritual essence. They flutter through the ruins, their presence a gentle reminder of the chapel's sacred purpose. As the chapel sits in stillness, the fairies work tirelessly to maintain the sanctity of the place. They gently clean the cobwebs from the corners, tend to the overgrown vines, and ensure that the once holy space remains a haven for those seeking solace. They are the unseen custodians of the chapel's memory, preserving its spiritual significance even as time moves on. The importance of these fairy guardians cannot be overstated. They are the silent sentinels, the invisible protectors who ensure that sacred spaces remain untainted by the outside world. Their work is a testament to their deep connection to the spiritual and physical realms, bridging the gap between the sacred and the everyday. As night falls and the stars begin to twinkle, the fairies' work continues. They gather around the sacred sites, their delicate forms shimmering in the moonlight. Their presence is a gentle reminder that these spaces are not just physical locations, but are imbued with a spiritual essence that must be preserved and respected. In every corner of the world, fairies serve as the guardians of sacred places, burial grounds, and spiritual sites. Their role is one of profound importance, ensuring that these locations remain places of reverence and connection. They are the unseen protectors who watch over the sacred, their presence a quiet but powerful force that maintains the balance between the earthly and the divine. Their dedication to preserving the sanctity of these places speaks to the deep respect they have for the spiritual realm. Through their guardianship, they ensure that the echoes of the past remain alive and that the spaces of spiritual significance continue to inspire and uplift those who seek them. At the edge of the known world, where the line between the magical and the mundane blurs, fairies reveal their most intriguing and enigmatic qualities. They are known not only for their enchanting beauty but also for their mischievous nature and their surprising role as guides. This duality makes them both captivating and unpredictable, a blend of charm and challenge that has fascinated humans for generations. Consider a moonlit forest where the night air is filled with an electric energy, as though the trees themselves are whispering secrets. Here, fairies are at play, their delicate forms darting between the shadows with a playful light. These fairies, with their twinkling eyes and laughter like chimes, are not always benevolent. They embody the trickster spirit, delighting in games that bewilder and bemuse. One moment, they might lead a wanderer astray, making the path seem endless and twisting. The forest, under their spell, might transform into a labyrinth of illusions, where familiar landmarks shift and the sky seems to swirl with unfamiliar stars. The fairies' laughter, though faint, rings out, both a taunt and a challenge. These tricks are not meant to cause harm but to test one's patience and wit, pushing people to confront their own weaknesses and fears. Yet, Beneath this layer of mischief lies a deeper purpose. The fairies' tricks often serve as a prelude to guidance. Once the wanderer has proven their resolve, the fairies reveal themselves not as tormentors but as guides. They gently nudge the lost traveler back onto the true path, their mischievous smiles giving way to expressions of calm and wisdom. It's as though the fairies are saying, "You have faced the challenge, now you are ready to see the way forward." In another corner of the world, in the heart of a bustling city, fairies work their tricks in more subtle ways. They might cause a cherished object to go missing, only for it to reappear in an unexpected place, or play with a person's thoughts, making them question their decisions. This seemingly random mischief often leads to personal revelations. People who find themselves lost in thought or disoriented by these fairy pranks might stumble upon new insights about themselves or their lives. It's a reminder that sometimes, chaos and confusion are necessary to prompt growth and self-discovery. Fairies, with their whimsical ways, have an uncanny ability to guide humans in moments of need. A young woman, troubled by indecision, might find herself led to a quiet glade where the fairies' gentle glow and soothing presence help her find clarity. Or a scholar, lost in research and feeling the weight of academic pressures, might experience a sudden, unexpected breakthrough after a night of strange and seemingly pointless disruptions. In these moments, the fairies are not just tricksters but benevolent mentors, using their playful antics to open doors to new understandings. The interplay of mischief and guidance is a testament to the fairies' complex nature. Their tricks, while sometimes frustrating or bewildering, are ultimately designed to lead individuals to greater wisdom and insight. This dual role of fairies challenges the conventional notions of good and evil, showing that sometimes the path to enlightenment is paved with unexpected twists and turns. In ancient tales, the trickster fairies were not always seen as malevolent beings, but as forces that reminded humans of the unpredictability of life. They taught valuable lessons through their games, lessons that could not be learned through straightforward means. The laughter and chaos they brought were part of a larger, often hidden, plan to guide people towards greater self-awareness and understanding. These fairy tricks also serve to remind us of the delicate balance between order and chaos. Life is full of uncertainties and surprises, and the fairies' antics reflect this truth in a way that is both playful and profound. Their mischief forces individuals to confront their own limits and adapt to unforeseen circumstances, ultimately preparing them for life's greater challenges. The guiding role of fairies is equally significant. Through their subtle interventions, they help individuals navigate through the confusion and complexity of life. They provide insight and direction when the way forward seems unclear, using their mystical presence to illuminate the path. This guidance is not always direct or obvious, but often comes through moments of reflection, insight, or serendipity. In the end, fairies embody the duality of existence, blending mischief with wisdom in a dance that is both enchanting and enlightening. Their role as tricksters and guides reminds us that life's journey is rarely straightforward and that the unexpected can lead to profound growth and discovery. Through their playful tricks and gentle guidance, fairies offer a glimpse into the magic and mystery of the world, teaching us to embrace both the chaos and the clarity that life brings. In the twilight hours of dawn, when the first light filters through the trees, a mystical dance begins. Fairies, delicate and elusive, flutter between the realms of the living and the dead. They are not merely whimsical creatures of folklore, but profound symbols of the cycle of life, death, and what lies beyond. Their presence carries a deep, resonant truth about our own journey through existence. Fairies are often seen as guardians of transitions. In many cultures, they are believed to guide souls from the mortal world into the afterlife. Their ethereal beauty and elusive nature embody the delicate balance between life and death. It is said that when someone close to us is nearing the end of their earthly journey, fairies may appear in dreams or in the natural world, offering comfort and a gentle reminder of the continuity of existence. Consider the quiet moment before dawn, where a faint glow seems to shimmer just beyond the edge of the forest. This is the time when fairies are said to be most active, their dance a reminder of the cycles that govern all living things. The movement of their delicate wings seems to echo the rhythmic cycles of nature itself: birth, growth, decay, and renewal. Their presence at these liminal moments offers a glimpse into the mysterious process of transformation that all life undergoes. In many traditions, fairies are believed to inhabit the spaces between life and death, acting as intermediaries between these worlds. They are thought to help souls transition smoothly, easing the passage from one realm to another. This role is not just about guiding the dead, but also about providing solace to the living, reminding them that death is not an end, but a transformation. The idea that fairies are involved in the cycle of life and death can be both comforting and unsettling. It challenges us to think of death not as an end, but as a part of a larger, ongoing cycle. Just as the seasons change and life springs anew from the earth, so too does the spirit continue its journey beyond the physical realm. Fairies, with their gentle guidance, help bridge the gap between these worlds, ensuring that the cycle continues unbroken. When someone dies, fairies are often depicted as accompanying the soul on its journey, offering reassurance and protection. Their presence is thought to help the soul navigate the afterlife, guiding it towards peace and rest. This belief is deeply rooted in the idea that the world beyond is not a place of darkness and fear, but one of light and continuity, where the spirit is free to evolve and grow. For those who are grieving, the idea that fairies are watching over their loved ones can be a source of immense comfort. It can be reassuring to think that the transition into the afterlife is handled with care and respect, and that the soul is being guided by these benevolent beings. Fairies, in their role as guardians of the cycle of life and death, remind us that our loved ones are not lost, but merely moving to another part of the grand, eternal dance of existence. Fairies also embody the concept of renewal. In many stories, they are associated with the changing of seasons, particularly the transition from winter to spring. Their role in these stories symbolizes the idea that even after death, there is rebirth and new beginnings. The end of one cycle is merely the start of another, a chance for new life and new experiences. This cyclical nature reflects the ongoing process of growth and transformation that all beings undergo. In times of personal loss, people often seek signs from the natural world, hoping to feel connected to their loved ones. The sight of a butterfly fluttering gently past or a sudden, inexplicable breeze can be seen as signs from the fairies, reassuring them that their loved ones are at peace and that life's cycle continues. These moments, seemingly small but deeply meaningful, serve as reminders that even in death, there is beauty and continuity. Fairies' connection to life, death, and the afterlife speaks to a universal truth about the nature of existence. They embody the belief that life is an eternal cycle, a series of transitions and transformations that are part of a grand, interconnected whole. Their presence in folklore serves as a powerful reminder that death is not something to be feared, but a natural part of the ongoing cycle of life. As we navigate through our own lives, the stories of fairies remind us of the interconnectedness of all things and the beauty that lies in the transition from one state to another. They encourage us to view life and death not as separate and distinct entities, but as intertwined aspects of the same continuous journey. In the quiet moments of reflection, when the boundaries between worlds seem to soften, fairies remind us of the eternal dance of existence. They offer comfort in times of loss, guidance through the transitions of life, and a reminder that the cycle of life and death is a beautiful, ongoing process that connects us all. Through their presence, we are gently guided to understand and embrace the mysteries of life's endless, transformative journey. Imagine standing at the edge of a tranquil forest, the sun filtering through the leaves, and feeling a sudden, gentle breeze. It feels as if the very air around you is alive, whispering secrets of the ancient world. In moments like these, the presence of fairies becomes palpable, their essence intertwined with the elemental forces that shape our world. They are not just magical beings, they are embodiments of the elemental powers, water, fire, wind, and earth, that sustain and transform our environment. Fairies are often linked with the elements because they are seen as the guardians and manipulators of these fundamental forces. Each element has its own type of fairy, reflecting the nature of that element and its impact on the world. Water fairies, for example, are serene and fluid, embodying the calming, life-giving essence of water. They are often found near lakes, rivers, and oceans, their presence felt in the gentle ripples and the soothing flow of water. When you stand beside a stream and feel the cool water rush past, it's as if you can sense the playful presence of water fairies. They are believed to dance along the banks, their laughter mingling with the babbling of the brook. Stories tell of how these fairies can control the flow of rivers, bring rain to nourish the land, or even soothe the troubled waters of a storm. Their connection to water is a reminder of the element's power to both nurture and transform. Fire fairies, in contrast, are vibrant and fierce. They embody the raw, untamed energy of flames. These fairies are associated with warmth, passion, and change. They are often seen as protectors of hearth and home, ensuring that the fire in the hearth burns brightly and safely. When the crackle of a firewood in the hearth fills the room with a comforting glow, you might feel the presence of fire fairies, their energy dancing in the flames. The stories of fire fairies often depict them as beings of great power and vitality. They can kindle flames with a mere thought, bring light to the darkest night, and even help in the transformation of materials through heat. Their influence is a reminder of the dual nature of fire, its ability to both create and destroy, to warm and to scorch. Wind fairies are elusive and free-spirited, embodying the ever-changing, unseen force of the wind. They are believed to carry messages between worlds and to play in the gusts that sweep across the land. The rustling of leaves, the gentle sway of the trees, and the whispers of the breeze are often attributed to the playful antics of wind fairies. Their presence can be felt in the way the wind touches your face, cool and refreshing, or in the sudden gusts that make you feel as though nature itself is alive and responding to you. These fairies are associated with the movement and change that wind brings. They are thought to help guide ships across the sea, bring messages over great distances, and clear the air of stale energies. Their connection to the wind symbolizes the power of change and the importance of adaptability in life. Finally, earth fairies are grounded and nurturing, reflecting the stability and fertility of the earth. They are the guardians of the land, ensuring that the soil remains rich and capable of supporting life. Their presence is felt in the growth of plants, the abundance of crops, and the solidity of the ground beneath our feet. When you walk through a lush, green forest or see a field full of ripe crops, you can sense the nurturing touch of earth fairies. These fairies are often depicted as caretakers of the natural world, helping plants grow, animals thrive, and the land remain fertile. They are believed to have a deep connection to the rhythms of nature and to hold the wisdom of the earth's cycles. Their influence is a reminder of the earth's enduring strength and the importance of caring for our environment. The association of fairies with the elemental forces of nature highlights their role as intermediaries between the physical world and the spiritual realm. They are seen as embodiments of these forces, capable of influencing and guiding them in ways that maintain balance and harmony. Their presence in the natural world is a testament to the intricate connections between all things and the unseen forces that shape our reality. In every breeze, every ripple of water, every flicker of flame, and every patch of earth, the essence of fairies can be felt. They remind us that we are part of a larger, interconnected world where every element has its own life and energy. Their connection to the elemental forces reflects a deep understanding of nature's power and beauty, and their stories serve as a reminder of the magic that exists in the everyday world around us. In the quiet moments of twilight, when the world seems to hold its breath, Native American storytellers gather their listeners around the flickering fire. As the shadows dance on the walls and the stars begin to shine, the ancient myths come alive, weaving their magic into the fabric of the night. The fairy tales and myths of Native American tribes are not just stories, they are living, breathing connections to the past, filled with wisdom, wonder, and the heartbeat of the land. These tales, passed down through generations, are rich with fairy-like beings and spirits that embody the mysteries of nature and the divine. They are more than mere entertainment, they are sacred teachings wrapped in the guise of enchanting narratives. Each story carries the essence of the tribe's culture, values, and connection to the natural world, making the oral tradition a vital thread in the fabric of their heritage. Imagine a storyteller's voice rising and falling with the rhythm of the fire, as they recount the tale of a magical being who roams the forest, unseen yet deeply felt. The listeners, young and old alike, are drawn into a world where fairies and spirits shape the very landscape around them. These stories are not just for amusement, they are lessons in respect, harmony, and the delicate balance between humans and nature. In many tribes, fairy tales serve as a bridge between the physical world and the spiritual realm. They tell of beings who inhabit the hidden corners of nature, from the deepest forests to the highest mountains. These beings, often referred to as little people or spirits, are more than mere folklore. They are considered real and influential, with their own will and power to affect the human world. The stories are rich with vivid descriptions of these magical entities. For instance, the tales of the little people among the Iroquois and Algonquian tribes tell of small, elusive beings who protect the forests and fields. They are often depicted as tricksters, teaching lessons through their antics, but also as protectors who ensure that the natural world remains in balance. Their presence in the stories underscores the deep reverence the tribes hold for nature and its guardians. In the Cheyenne and Sioux traditions, fairy-like beings are not just characters but symbols of moral and spiritual truths. They teach about the importance of respect for all living things and the consequences of disrupting the natural order. The tales might involve a young hero who learns to listen to the whispers of the wind, or a heroine who gains wisdom from the stars, guiding them to understand their place in the world. These stories are often told in a way that makes the magical seem almost tangible. The fairies and spirits in the tales are not distant or abstract, they are intimately connected to the lives of the people. They are seen in the rustle of leaves, the murmur of streams, and the changing seasons. Through these stories, the natural world is transformed into a realm of enchantment and mystery, where every element has a spirit and every moment holds potential for wonder. The myths also serve as a way to preserve and transmit cultural values. They are stories of bravery, kindness, and wisdom, told through the lens of magic and the supernatural. They remind listeners of the importance of community, the value of personal integrity, and the need for harmony with the environment. By sharing these stories, the elders pass on crucial lessons and keep the cultural flame alive, ensuring that each generation remains connected to its roots. Fairy tales in Native American traditions often feature moral lessons embedded within the narrative. These stories might include themes of humility, the consequences of greed, or the importance of kindness and generosity. The fairy-like beings, with their otherworldly powers and mysterious ways, often act as catalysts for these lessons, guiding characters through trials and tribulations that ultimately reveal deeper truths about life and the universe. As the fire crackles and the night grows deeper, the stories become a living tapestry of the tribe's collective memory and wisdom. They are not static relics of the past, but dynamic, ever-evolving narratives that adapt to the needs and understandings of each new generation. The fairy tales and myths continue to be a source of inspiration, guidance, and connection, reflecting the timeless bond between humans and the mystical forces that shape their world. In the end, these stories are a testament to the power of storytelling to preserve culture, impart wisdom, and create a sense of wonder. They remind us that the magic of the fairies and the spirits is not just a part of ancient lore, but a vital and vibrant part of the living world, intertwined with the rhythms of nature and the heartbeat of the earth. Through these tales, the essence of the tribe's heritage is kept alive, whispered through the ages by the flickering flames of the fire and the voices of its storytellers. In the heart of Native American culture, where tradition and artistry blend seamlessly, the portrayal of fairy-like beings in art and craft tells a story as old as the land itself. Each brushstroke, bead, and carving is more than just decoration. It is a vibrant expression of the mystical and sacred elements that dance through the stories and beliefs of the people. As you stand before a beautifully carved totem, the figures carved into its surface seem to whisper ancient secrets. Each one, meticulously detailed, represents more than just a mythical being. They symbolize the deep connection between the natural world and the spiritual realm. The fairies and spirits depicted in these works of art are not distant or abstract, but deeply integrated into the everyday lives of the tribes, embodying the essence of their beliefs and values. In the intricate beadwork of the Sioux or the elaborate embroidery of the Navajo, you might find motifs that echo the presence of fairy-like beings. These symbols are more than aesthetic choices, they are imbued with meaning. Each pattern, each color, tells a story of the supernatural forces believed to guide, protect, and interact with the human world. The art serves as a bridge between the tangible and the intangible, reflecting the profound connection the tribes feel with the unseen spirits that shape their lives. The delicate carvings of the Haida and Tlingit tribes feature figures that embody the essence of the supernatural. These beings are often depicted in ways that blend seamlessly with the natural elements around them. They are not separate from the world, but a part of it, embodying the spirits of the forest, water, and sky. These carvings do more than tell stories, they capture the living essence of the beings they represent, making them an integral part of the viewer's world. In the southwestern tribes, such as the Hopi and Pueblo, pottery and woven baskets are often adorned with symbols that reflect their spiritual beliefs. The designs on these crafts may include representations of fairies and nature spirits, each one meticulously crafted to convey the power and presence of these entities. These pieces are more than functional items, they are sacred objects that carry the weight of tradition and the breath of the spirit world. The symbolism of fairies in Native American art is also a reflection of their role as guardians and protectors. For many tribes, these beings are seen as watchful presences that safeguard the natural world and the sacred sites within it. The motifs used in art and craft often depict these guardians in their roles as protectors of the land, animals, and people. They are reminders of the delicate balance that must be maintained and the respect that must be given to the natural and spiritual realms. In the vibrant colors and bold patterns of Native American textiles, the presence of fairy-like beings is often hinted at through abstract symbols and shapes. These designs are not random but are carefully chosen to represent the unseen forces that influence the world. The art captures the essence of these beings, weaving them into the fabric of everyday life and making their presence a constant, comforting reminder of their power and guidance. The art of Native American tribes often portrays fairies and spirits in ways that blend seamlessly with the natural world. This connection highlights the belief that these beings are not separate from the environment but are an integral part of it. The natural elements depicted in the art, trees, rivers, mountains, are often intertwined with the figures of fairies and spirits, reflecting the deep bond between the tribes and the land they inhabit. Each piece of art and craft is a testament to the rich tapestry of stories and beliefs that shape Native American culture. The fairy-like beings depicted in these works are not just characters from myths, but are essential elements of the tribe's spiritual and cultural identity. Through their art, the tribes honor and celebrate these beings, ensuring that their presence continues to be felt and revered. In every bead, carving, and pattern, there is a story waiting to be told, a story of connection, reverence, and magic. The fairy-like beings represented in Native American art are not distant or abstract, but are intimately woven into the fabric of the tribe's lives and beliefs. Their presence in art and craft serves as a powerful reminder of the deep and enduring bond between the physical and spiritual worlds, a bond that continues to inspire and guide the people through the ages. In the hushed moments before dawn, when the world is still and the air is thick with anticipation, fairies make their presence known in the ancient rhythms of ritual and ceremony. These mystical beings, often hidden from our eyes, are believed to weave their magic into the very fabric of these sacred practices, turning ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. As the sun begins to rise, illuminating the ceremonial grounds, the air is charged with a sense of expectancy. The participants, adorned in traditional regalia, prepare for the rituals that have been passed down through generations. Their movements, deliberate and reverent, are not just actions but are offerings to the spirits and fairies that are thought to inhabit the sacred spaces around them. In the quiet of these ceremonies, fairies are often called upon to bless and guide. During certain rites, chants and prayers are directed to these elusive beings, asking for their protection and favor. The belief is that fairies, with their intimate knowledge of the natural world and its hidden forces, can offer wisdom and guidance that is beyond human reach. The rituals become a bridge, connecting the mundane with the divine, the seen with the unseen. One of the most poignant moments is when the community gathers around sacred fires. The flickering flames dance and crackle, seemingly alive with their own spirit. Here, the fairies are believed to join in the celebration, their presence felt in the warmth of the fire and the whisper of the wind. Songs and dances are performed, each step and note a tribute to the fairy-like beings who are thought to walk beside them. The rituals become a celebration of life and nature, intertwined with the magic of the fairies. In these ceremonies, the fairies are not just passive observers but active participants. Offerings of food, flowers, and other gifts are laid out, not merely as tokens, but as sincere gestures of respect and gratitude. These offerings are believed to be received by the fairies, who in turn bless the community with good fortune, health, and harmony. The act of giving is a way of honoring the fairies, acknowledging their role in the balance of life and nature. As the rituals unfold, stories of the fairies' deeds and characteristics are shared. These tales are more than folklore, they are living traditions that reinforce the bond between the people and the magical beings they revere. Each story carries the weight of history and belief, shaping the community's understanding of the world and their place within it. In contemporary practices, the role of fairies in rituals continues to evolve. Modern ceremonies, while often infused with new elements, still hold on to the ancient reverence for these mystical beings. The connection to the fairies remains strong, a testament to the enduring belief in their power and presence. Whether through new forms of celebration or traditional rites, the essence of the fairy magic is preserved and celebrated. In the moments of quiet reflection that follow the ceremonies, there is a palpable sense of peace and fulfillment. The rituals, imbued with the presence of fairies, leave a lasting impression on the participants. The magic of these moments, shared between the seen and unseen, becomes a cherished memory, a reminder of the profound connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. The inclusion of fairies in rituals and ceremonies highlights the deep-seated belief in their role as intermediaries between humans and the divine. Their presence is not just a part of the ceremonies, but is woven into the very essence of the rituals, turning them into sacred acts of communion and celebration. The rituals become a living testament to the magic and mystery of the fairies, a reminder that, even in the midst of everyday life, there is a touch of the extraordinary waiting to be discovered. The echoes of old world myths found their way to the shores of the New World, carrying with them the whispers of fairies and other magical beings. These tales, rich with wonder and mystery, began to mingle with the stories of Native American tribes, creating a tapestry of shared magic and new meanings. When European settlers arrived on the American continents, they brought with them a treasure trove of fairy lore. These myths, filled with elves, sprites, and mystical creatures, were as much a part of their heritage as their customs and traditions. As they settled among the native tribes, their stories began to weave into the local folklore, creating a fascinating blend of cultures and beliefs. At first glance, the European fairy tales and Native American legends might seem worlds apart. European fairies often lived in enchanted forests, were capricious and sometimes mischievous, and their stories were filled with elements of courtly magic and elaborate fey courts. On the other hand, Native American folklore was deeply rooted in the natural world, with spirits closely tied to specific animals, plants, and landscapes. Yet, as these two worlds met, something beautiful began to happen. The European tales of fairies, with their shimmering wings and hidden realms, started to find new expressions in Native American stories. Some tribes began to incorporate elements from European myths into their own traditions, blending these new ideas with their rich, existing lore. The transformation was not just about adding new characters to old stories, it was about a deep and respectful adaptation, where both cultures enriched each other's understanding of the mystical. For instance, the playful and sometimes troublesome nature of European fairies resonated with the Native American stories of trickster spirits. The European fae's antics and mischief found a new home in the legends of Native American tricksters, blending with the qualities of beings like the coyote or the raven. These tricksters, known for their cunning and playful deceit, mirrored the mischievous aspects of European fairies, creating a new layer of depth in the shared tales. In some stories, the European fairies took on roles that echoed the spirits of the natural world revered by Native American tribes. The fairies' connections to nature, their ability to control elements like water or fire, and their mysterious presence became intertwined with Native American beliefs about the spirit world. The blending of these elements created a richer, more complex view of the spiritual realm, where both European and Native American spirits coexisted and interacted. The exchange also led to the evolution of new rituals and ceremonies. European settlers and Native Americans often found themselves participating in shared festivals or gatherings where both traditions were honored. In these settings, the fairy lore of one culture would mix with the sacred practices of the other, leading to unique, hybrid celebrations that honored both sets of beliefs. This cross-cultural blending helped to preserve and adapt the stories in ways that respected both traditions and allowed them to flourish together. As the years went by, the influence of European fairy myths continued to shape Native American folklore in subtle yet profound ways. The stories of fairies became part of the oral traditions, evolving with each retelling and contributing to the rich tapestry of Native American storytelling. These tales, infused with both European and Native American elements, became a testament to the power of cultural exchange and adaptation. In reflecting on this cross-cultural blending, it's clear that the meeting of European and Native American myths created something truly unique. The fairy stories, once confined to the forests and castles of Europe, found new life and meaning in the landscapes and traditions of the Americas. This fusion of magic and myth became a symbol of how diverse cultures can come together, share their stories, and create new, shared understandings of the world. In the heart of today's Native American communities, the whisper of ancient fairy tales continues to dance on the wind, just as it did centuries ago. Far from fading into the past, these mystical beings have found a place in the modern world, evolving and adapting in ways that honor both tradition and contemporary life. The fairy myths, once passed down through oral storytelling, now shimmer through various forms of modern Native American culture. In art, literature, and community events, these stories have been transformed but remain deeply rooted in the spiritual and cultural heritage of the tribes. They are not just relics of the past, but living, breathing elements of today's cultural expressions. Take, for instance, the vibrant art that adorns galleries and public spaces. Contemporary Native American artists often infuse their works with elements from ancient fairy tales. These artworks capture the enchanting essence of the fairies, blending traditional motifs with modern techniques. They portray the fairies not just as mythical beings, but as symbols of nature's beauty and mystery. Each brushstroke or carving tells a story that connects the past with the present, making the legends accessible to new generations. In literature, fairy tales have adapted to reflect the changing world while keeping their core messages intact. Modern Native American writers weave these ancient myths into their novels and stories, using them to explore contemporary themes. These stories might reflect on environmental concerns, personal identity, or the challenges faced by Native communities today. Through their writing, authors keep the fairy tales alive, ensuring that they remain relevant and resonant with today's readers. Community events and festivals also celebrate these timeless tales. Powwows and cultural festivals often feature performances and stories that highlight fairy-like beings from Native American lore. These gatherings are not just about preserving history, but about celebrating the living tradition of fairy tales. They offer a space where people can come together, share their stories, and experience the magic of these beings in a communal setting. The excitement and reverence of these events show how deeply the fairy myths are woven into the fabric of modern Native American life. Education plays a crucial role in keeping these myths alive. Native American schools and cultural programs teach young people about their heritage, including the fairy tales and spiritual beings that have shaped their ancestors' lives. Through storytelling workshops and cultural lessons, children learn about the fairies and their significance, ensuring that these stories are passed down to the next generation. This educational approach helps to preserve the myths and adapt them in ways that resonate with contemporary values and experiences. Moreover, the influence of fairy myths can be seen in the spiritual practices of modern Native American communities. While traditional rituals remain central to many ceremonies, there is a growing incorporation of fairy elements into spiritual practices. These practices often emphasize the connection between the natural world and the mystical realm, reflecting the enduring belief in the fairies as guardians and spirits of nature. The integration of these elements into modern rituals demonstrates how the old and the new can harmoniously coexist. In the face of a rapidly changing world, the survival and evolution of fairy myths in Native American culture are a testament to their enduring power. They bridge the gap between ancient traditions and contemporary life, offering a magical link to the past while embracing the present. The presence of fairies in modern Native American culture is not just a nostalgic echo, but a vibrant and living part of the community's identity. The way these myths have adapted to the modern world highlights their resilience and relevance. They continue to inspire, educate, and connect people, weaving the enchantment of fairy tales into the tapestry of today's cultural and spiritual life. The fairies, once the stuff of ancient stories, now dance through the heart of contemporary Native American culture, embodying a timeless magic that endures through generations. In the quiet corners of ancient forests, where the light of day barely reaches the forest floor, two types of tiny, magical beings weave their stories, one in the lush woodlands of Europe, and the other among the whispering trees of North America. The Iroquois Little People and European elves may seem like distant cousins in the world of folklore, yet their tales intertwine with striking similarities and poignant differences that tell much about human nature and our connection to the world around us. European elves, with their delicate features and mischievous tendencies, have enchanted hearts for centuries. They are often depicted as slender beings with pointed ears, residing in hidden realms or misty glens, where they craft magical items and perform whimsical tricks. Their presence in folklore is deeply intertwined with the natural world, yet they remain distinct from it, living in their own magical bubble. Across the Atlantic, the Iroquois Little People inhabit the spiritual and physical landscapes of the American Northeast. These beings are often described as small, with features similar to humans but imbued with supernatural abilities. Their role in Iroquois mythology is far from being merely enchanting. They are integral to the balance of nature and human affairs. Despite their different origins, the parallels between the two are uncanny. Both the European elves and the Iroquois Little People are seen as guardians of nature. European elves are often associated with protecting forests and natural places, ensuring that the balance of the environment is maintained. Similarly, the Little People in Iroquois traditions are closely linked to the health of the land and its creatures, influencing everything from crop growth to the well-being of animals. Their appearances, though, reflect their respective cultural backgrounds. European elves are typically depicted as ethereal and graceful, their appearance almost otherworldly. They are sometimes shown wearing fine clothes and living in luxurious settings hidden from ordinary sight. The Iroquois Little People, on the other hand, are portrayed with more earthy features, often blending into their surroundings. They are not as concerned with human notions of beauty or wealth, but with the vitality of the natural world. The roles they play in their respective stories also highlight their differences. European elves are frequently involved in enchanting human lives with their magic, sometimes leading them astray or testing their virtues. Their stories often focus on personal transformation or quests. In contrast, the Little People of Iroquois lore are more likely to be involved in maintaining the balance of nature and dealing with everyday issues within the tribe. They can be both helpful and mischievous, but their actions are deeply connected to the welfare of the community and the land. One striking similarity between these beings is their dual nature. Both can be benevolent or malevolent, depending on how humans interact with them. European elves, for example, might bestow blessings or bring misfortune depending on how they are treated. Likewise, the Iroquois Little People have their own form of justice. They are known to play tricks on those who disrespect nature or the traditions of the tribe, but are also known to assist those who show respect and kindness. The stories about these magical beings serve not only to entertain but also to teach valuable lessons about the world and our place within it. They remind us of the interconnectedness of all things and the importance of living in harmony with the environment. The way these beings are woven into the fabric of their respective cultures reflects a deep, shared understanding of nature's mysteries and the human spirit's yearning to connect with the unseen forces that shape our world. In both European and Iroquois traditions, these beings serve as a bridge between the human world and the realm of the extraordinary. They symbolize our desire for wonder and magic, while also representing the deeper truths about our relationship with nature and each other. The tales of the elves and the Little People remind us of the magic that still exists in the world, hidden in the folds of the forest and in the whispers of the wind. The parallels and contrasts between these two kinds of magical beings not only reflect the rich tapestry of human imagination, but also highlight how deeply we all feel connected to the world around us. Whether in the deep forests of Europe or the ancient woodlands of North America, the stories of the elves and the little people continue to inspire awe and remind us of the timeless magic that binds us to the natural world. In the heart of ancient woodlands, where the whispering leaves and hidden glades have always held a certain magic, two guardian spirits, one from the Cherokee traditions and the other from Celtic folklore, watch over their realms with a blend of mystery and benevolence. The Nunnehi and the Celtic city, while separated by an ocean and a world of different landscapes, share an essence of guardianship that binds them in a universal dance of protection and mystique. The Nunnehi, the benevolent beings of Cherokee mythology, are described as the people who live anywhere. These spirits are said to dwell in the mountains and forests, always keeping a watchful eye over the land and its inhabitants. They are deeply intertwined with the natural world, living in harmony with the environment and ensuring the balance of nature is preserved. Their presence is both comforting and powerful, as they are known to offer help to those who are respectful of the land and its creatures. The Celtic city, on the other hand, are the mystical beings of the ancient Celtic lands, often associated with the fairy mounds and sacred groves. They are known as the people of the hills or people of the city, and their stories are filled with enchanting and enigmatic qualities. The city are seen as guardians of the land, and their realms are closely linked to the natural elements of their environment. They dwell in an otherworldly dimension, hidden from human eyes, and their influence is felt in the changing seasons and the ebb and flow of natural forces. Both the Nunnehi and the city serve as protectors of their respective lands, but their methods and manifestations differ. The Nunnehi are seen as more approachable and directly involved in human affairs. They interact with the Cherokee people, sometimes appearing in times of need to guide or assist. Their role is more about ensuring the well-being of their land and its people, maintaining the balance and harmony of nature. In contrast, the city are often portrayed as more aloof and mysterious. They guard their sacred spaces with a blend of enchantment and caution. Their interactions with humans are less direct, often coming through subtle signs or omens. The city's role is more about maintaining the magical barriers between their world and ours, ensuring that the sacred spaces remain undisturbed and revered. Both groups of guardians share a deep connection with the land, but their relationships with it reflect their cultural backgrounds. The Nunnehi's guardianship is characterized by a close, nurturing bond with nature. They are seen as part of the natural world, working to preserve its balance and help those who show respect for it. Their interactions are often grounded in practical aid and support for the Cherokee people. The city, however, represent a more mystical and distant form of guardianship. Their protection of the land is more about preserving its sacredness and maintaining the magical boundaries that separate their world from the human one. They are guardians of both the physical and spiritual realms, ensuring that the ancient traditions and sacred places remain intact. Despite these differences, both the Nunnehi and the city embody the same fundamental idea, that the land is sacred and must be protected. They remind us of the deep, often unseen, forces that maintain the balance of the world. Their stories reflect a universal truth about the importance of respecting and caring for the environment. In their own ways, both the Nunnehi and the city symbolize the timeless connection between humans and the natural world. They serve as reminders of the magic that lies just beyond the ordinary, in the hidden corners of forests and the whispers of the wind. Their tales, though from different cultures, resonate with a shared sense of wonder and respect for the land that sustains us. As we reflect on the guardianship of these ancient beings, we find a common thread that binds us all, a recognition of the magic and mystery that surrounds us. Whether through the direct, nurturing presence of the Nunnehi or the distant, enigmatic watchfulness of the city, the guardians of the land remind us of the beauty and fragility of our world. Their stories, though told in different lands and through different voices, echo a universal truth, that we are all part of a larger, interconnected web of life, and it is our responsibility to honor and protect it. In the heart of the misty Irish hills and the whispering forests of Canada, two mischievous figures dance on the edge of reality and legend. The Managishi of Cree lore and the leprechauns of Irish myth share more than just a penchant for trickery. These small, elusive beings captivate with their cleverness and charm, weaving tales of enchantment that span continents and cultures. The Managishi, the trickster spirits of the Cree, are described as small, dwarf-like beings with an unsettling habit of playing pranks on humans. These creatures are both feared and revered. They dwell in the wilderness, often near water, and their antics can range from mildly irritating to dangerously disruptive. Their tricks are not just for amusement, they serve as reminders to respect nature and be cautious in their domains. The Managishi are known for their cunning and unpredictability, embodying the wild, untamed aspects of the natural world. Their mischief often serves as a lesson, a way to instill respect for the mysterious forces that govern the wild. On the other side of the Atlantic, Irish leprechauns also bring their own brand of magic and mischief. These little fairies, often depicted with their iconic green suits and top hats, are famous for their love of gold and their elusive nature. Leprechauns are known for their clever tricks and their habit of hiding their pots of gold at the end of a rainbow, an impossible task for any human to achieve. They are guardians of treasure, and their tricks are designed to protect their hoard from those who seek to steal it. Like the Managishi, leprechauns use their cunning to outsmart those who dare to challenge them. Both the Managishi and the leprechauns embody the archetype of the trickster, a figure found in many cultures that uses cleverness and deception to achieve their goals. They play with human expectations and boundaries, often in ways that challenge our understanding of what is real and what is not. Their pranks are not just for amusement, but serve as a way to teach lessons about respect, patience, and humility. The trickster nature of these beings highlights a universal truth: the balance between human ambition and the natural world. The Managishi's tricks remind us of the power of nature and the need to approach it with respect and caution. Their mischief is a reflection of the unpredictable and often dangerous elements of the wild. Similarly, the leprechaun's antics serve as a reminder of the allure of material wealth and the folly of greed. Their tricks are designed to keep their treasures safe from those who might seek to exploit them. Despite their different cultural backgrounds, the Managishi and leprechauns share a common thread in their trickster roles. They both challenge human expectations and provide a glimpse into a world where magic and reality intertwine. Their stories are filled with both humor and moral lessons, offering insights into the values and beliefs of the cultures that created them. The Managishi's tricks often involve themes of respect for the environment and the consequences of human actions. Their pranks can serve as warnings, reminding people to tread carefully in the wilderness and to respect the forces of nature. The leprechauns, with their focus on treasure and the desire to protect their hoard, offer lessons about the perils of greed and the importance of understanding one's own limitations. Both beings are symbols of the magical and mysterious elements of the world, reminding us that there are forces beyond our control and understanding. They embody the idea that the world is full of hidden wonders and dangers, and that navigating it requires a combination of cleverness, respect, and humility. In their own ways, the Managishi and leprechauns serve as guardians of their respective realms. They protect the natural world and its treasures through their tricks and mischief, ensuring that those who encounter them do so with a sense of wonder and respect. Their stories continue to captivate and inspire, bridging the gap between ancient traditions and contemporary imagination. Through their playful and enigmatic nature, these trickster figures remind us of the magic that lies just beyond the ordinary and the lessons we can learn from embracing the unknown. In the dim light of a flickering fire or the soft glow of a lantern, two enchanting figures step into view. Though they come from different corners of the world, their roles in folklore are strikingly similar. The Mimigwezi of Ojibwe legend and the Scandinavian Nis share a unique place in their cultures as household spirits. Their stories not only captivate but also reveal a deep connection between human life and the spirit world, blending warmth and mystery in equal measure. The Mimigwezi, small and elusive, are water spirits in Ojibwe folklore. They are often depicted as dwarf-like beings who dwell near lakes, rivers, and other bodies of water. These spirits are known for their playful yet sometimes mischievous nature. They have a deep connection to the water, which they protect with a sense of duty. Their actions can range from helping those in need to causing trouble if they are disrespected or ignored. Their presence is a reminder of the balance between human activity and the natural world, highlighting the importance of respecting the environment. In Scandinavian folklore, the nis, or tomte, serves a similar role but in the context of the household. These small, gnome-like creatures are known for their protective nature over homes and farms. They are often depicted wearing red hats and gray clothes, and they are believed to live in the barns or attics of farms. The nis is a guardian of the household, ensuring that it thrives and remains free from misfortune. They are known for their love of order and their disdain for disarray. Like the Mimigwizi, they can be both helpful and vengeful. If treated well, they might bring good fortune and success, but if neglected or disrespected, they can cause mischief and trouble. Both the Mimigwizi and the nis are deeply tied to the idea of guardianship. The Mimigwizi protects the natural waters, ensuring the balance of the ecosystem. They serve as a reminder of the power and mystery of the water and the need to approach it with respect. On the other hand, the nis guards the home and its inhabitants, ensuring the well-being of the family and the prosperity of the farm. Their vigilance reflects the importance of maintaining harmony and respect within the household. These household spirits are also linked through their actions and interactions with humans. Both the Mimigwizi and the nis are known for their ability to influence human lives through their behavior. They can offer blessings and help when treated well, but they also have a mischievous side that emerges when they feel slighted. The Mimigwizi might play tricks on those who disrespect the water or fail to acknowledge their presence, while the nis might cause trouble for those who neglect their duties or forget to offer a small gift as thanks for their protection. The stories of these spirits also share a common thread in their cultural significance. The Mimigwizi and the nis both embody the values of their respective cultures. The Mimigwizi, with their deep connection to water and nature, reflect the Ojibwe's reverence for the natural world and the importance of maintaining a respectful relationship with it. The nis, with their focus on home and farm, represent the Scandinavian values of hard work, order, and the importance of family. Their presence in folklore also highlights a universal human experience, the need for protection and balance in our lives. Both the Mimigwizi and the nis serve as reminders of the unseen forces that shape our world, whether they be the natural forces of water or the domestic forces of the home. Their stories offer a glimpse into the ways different cultures understand and interact with these forces, blending the magical with the everyday. In the quiet moments of the night, as shadows play on the walls and the wind whispers through the trees, the Mimigwizi and the nis watch over their realms. Their presence is a testament to the enduring power of folklore to connect us with the unseen world and the deep-seated need for balance and harmony in our lives. Through their stories, we are reminded of the magic that exists in the everyday and the importance of respecting the forces that guard and guide us. Imagine sitting in a quiet room, surrounded by tales of magical beings, from the mischievous fairies of Celtic legends to the protective spirits of Native American folklore. These stories are more than just whimsical fantasies, they are windows into the human soul, shaped by the cultures that tell them. Anthropology helps us understand how fairy myths are not just stories but reflections of the values, fears, and hopes of the people who create them. Fairy myths have been a part of human culture for centuries, woven into the fabric of societies around the world. Through the lens of anthropology, these myths become a mirror reflecting the lives and beliefs of different cultures. Each culture's fairy stories reveal something profound about their understanding of the world. For instance, in European fairy tales, we often find stories of magical beings living in forests, hills, or hidden realms. These fairies embody both the allure and danger of nature. They symbolize the unpredictable and often uncontrollable aspects of the natural world. In times when life was deeply intertwined with the natural environment, these stories helped people make sense of the wild and mysterious forces around them. Fairies became personifications of nature's beauty and its potential for danger, teaching lessons about respect and caution. Similarly, Native American fairy myths provide insight into the spiritual and moral values of their cultures. For instance, the Nunahai of Cherokee folklore are seen as protectors of the land. They remind people of their connection to the earth and the importance of maintaining harmony with nature. These myths are more than just stories, they are teachings embedded in cultural practices, guiding people on how to live in balance with their environment. By examining these myths anthropologically, we see how they serve as tools for understanding and navigating the complexities of life and nature. Anthropology also sheds light on how fairy myths adapt and evolve over time. As cultures interact, their stories often blend, creating new myths that reflect a mixture of traditions and beliefs. This cross-cultural exchange can lead to fascinating hybrids of fairy tales, blending elements from different cultures into a new form of storytelling. For example, the fairy-like beings of Native American folklore may merge with European fairy figures in the stories told by settlers and indigenous peoples living side by side. This fusion reveals how myths are living, breathing aspects of culture, constantly evolving to reflect changing realities and interactions. Fairy myths also play a crucial role in socialization. They teach children about the values and norms of their culture through engaging narratives. Whether it's the lesson of respect for nature in the stories of the Mimigwizi or the importance of order and respect in the tales of the Nis, these myths help transmit cultural values from one generation to the next. They serve as a way to socialize individuals into their cultural frameworks, providing moral and ethical guidance through captivating stories. Furthermore, anthropological studies reveal how fairy myths address universal human concerns. Despite their local variations, many fairy tales deal with common themes: the struggle between good and evil, the quest for understanding, and the need for balance in life. These stories speak to fundamental aspects of the human experience, such as fear of the unknown, the desire for justice, and the search for meaning. By analyzing these myths, we gain insight into how different cultures deal with these universal issues and find comfort in the fantastical. The study of fairy myths through anthropology also highlights the role of imagination in human culture. Fairy tales allow people to explore the boundaries of reality and fantasy, providing a space where they can confront their fears and hopes in a symbolic way. This imaginative aspect is not just about escapism, it's a crucial part of how cultures make sense of their world and their place in it. Fairy myths are a testament to the power of storytelling to shape and reflect human experience, offering a glimpse into the creativity and depth of cultural thought. In the end, fairy myths are much more than charming tales of magical beings. They are deeply rooted in the human condition, shaped by the cultures that create them and reflecting universal concerns and values. Through the lens of anthropology, we see these myths as vital parts of human culture, offering profound insights into how people understand and navigate their world. They remind us that even the most fantastical stories are grounded in the real experiences and emotions of the people who tell them. Imagine a world where the most enchanting fairy tales are more than just whimsical stories, they are powerful reflections of our deepest fears and desires. Fairy myths hold a mirror up to the human psyche, revealing timeless truths about ourselves. This exploration into the psychological interpretation of these myths, including Jungian archetypes, uncovers how fairy tales resonate with our innermost thoughts and emotions. Fairy tales are like hidden windows into our minds, showing us more than just magical adventures. They bring to life the archetypes described by Carl Jung, a psychologist who believed that certain symbols and characters are deeply embedded in the human subconscious. According to Jungian psychology, these archetypes represent fundamental human experiences and emotions that are shared across cultures and ages. One of the most captivating aspects of fairy myths is their use of archetypal figures. Think of the wise old fairy who offers guidance, or the malevolent witch who represents our deepest fears. These characters are not just figments of imagination, they embody psychological archetypes that tap into our collective unconscious. The wise old fairy could be seen as the sage archetype, representing wisdom, guidance, and the pursuit of truth. This figure often appears in fairy tales to offer advice or aid to the protagonist, symbolizing our inner desire for wisdom and understanding. On the other hand, the wicked witch or the evil sorcerer embodies the shadow archetype, representing the darker, repressed aspects of ourselves. These characters often challenge the hero or heroine, forcing them to confront their fears and insecurities. Through these encounters, fairy tales provide a safe space for exploring and overcoming our inner darkness, teaching us valuable lessons about courage and self-discovery. Fairy tales also introduce us to the hero archetype, represented by brave knights, resilient young women, or clever children. These heroes embark on quests that mirror our own journeys towards self-improvement and personal growth. The challenges they face and the victories they achieve reflect our own struggles and triumphs. When we follow the hero's journey, we are not just entertained, we are drawn into a narrative that mirrors our own quest for meaning and fulfillment. The magical settings in fairy tales, such as enchanted forests or mystical kingdoms, represent the inner world, a place of exploration and transformation. These settings are not just backdrops for the action, but symbolize the depths of the human psyche where hidden desires, fears, and potentials reside. The journey through these magical landscapes mirrors our psychological journey into the unknown parts of ourselves, encouraging growth and self-discovery. Fairy tales also use symbols to communicate psychological truths. The magical objects, like enchanted mirrors or powerful amulets, represent aspects of our own inner resources and potentials. For instance, an enchanted mirror might symbolize self-reflection or the search for identity, while a magical amulet could represent personal strength or protection. These symbols help us navigate our inner worlds, providing insight into our own capabilities and challenges. Furthermore, the resolution of fairy tales often involves personal transformation. Characters who overcome obstacles or defeat evil forces are not just achieving external goals, they are undergoing significant inner changes. This transformation mirrors the psychological process of growth and healing, where confronting and integrating various aspects of the self leads to greater wholeness and understanding. Fairy myths also tap into universal themes of love, fear, and redemption. These themes resonate deeply with us because they reflect fundamental aspects of the human experience. The story of a young woman overcoming a curse to find true love, for example, speaks to our own desires for connection and acceptance. The battles against dark forces or the quest for self-discovery reflect our ongoing struggles with inner and outer challenges. In exploring fairy myths through psychological lenses, we gain a deeper understanding of how these stories touch on universal aspects of the human condition. They are not just magical tales, but profound explorations of our innermost selves. By engaging with these myths, we connect with archetypal figures and symbols that resonate with our own experiences, helping us navigate our psychological landscapes and find meaning in our personal journeys. Ultimately, fairy myths are more than just stories, they are powerful tools for self-reflection and growth. They allow us to confront our deepest fears, embrace our strengths, and embark on journeys of transformation. Through their rich symbolism and archetypal characters, fairy tales continue to offer valuable insights into the human psyche, touching our hearts and inspiring us to explore the mysteries of our own inner worlds. In the ancient whispers of fairy myths, there is a profound and heart-stirring truth about how humans once saw their place in the world. These myths, filled with enchanting creatures and mystical lands, are more than just captivating tales, they are a reflection of an indigenous understanding of nature and a deep respect for the environment. Think of the fairies in these stories as guardians of the natural world. They are not just magical beings, but symbols of how closely intertwined the human spirit is with nature. From the lush forests to the sparkling rivers, these myths reveal an ancient wisdom about living in harmony with the earth. In many indigenous cultures, fairies are closely associated with specific natural elements. They are often depicted as protectors of forests, rivers, and mountains. Their presence in these stories reminds us that nature is not just a backdrop for human activities, but a living, breathing entity deserving of respect and care. Fairies, in their role as caretakers of the land, embody this respect and guide humans in maintaining a balance with nature. The fairies' connection to natural elements highlights the ecological knowledge embedded in these myths. For example, in some cultures, fairies are believed to reside in sacred groves or ancient trees. These places are not just settings for magical adventures, but are revered as vital parts of the ecosystem. By honoring these places in their stories, indigenous people have preserved a deep understanding of the importance of protecting natural habitats. Consider the story of a fairy who helps a farmer understand the cycles of the seasons or teaches them how to nurture the soil. Such tales are not merely charming, they reflect an intimate knowledge of the environment. They remind us of the ancient wisdom about planting and harvesting in harmony with nature's rhythms, ensuring the land remains fertile and bountiful. Fairy myths also often address the consequences of disrupting the natural order. Stories where characters anger fairies and face the wrath of nature serve as powerful reminders of the delicate balance between human actions and environmental health. These myths convey that the well-being of the land is intimately connected to how people behave and interact with their surroundings. In many tales, fairies are depicted as small and delicate creatures, yet their influence on nature is immense. This portrayal symbolizes how even the smallest beings can have a significant impact on the environment. It is a gentle reminder of the interconnectedness of all living things and the responsibility humans have to protect the delicate balance of their ecosystems. The ecological perspective in fairy myths also extends to the idea of stewardship. Fairies are often shown as beings who not only protect nature but also guide humans to be better caretakers of the earth. This guidance comes in the form of lessons on how to live sustainably and in harmony with nature, reinforcing the idea that humans must take responsibility for their impact on the environment. In the enchanting tales of fairies, there is a powerful message about living with intention and respect. These myths remind us that the natural world is sacred and that every action we take affects the environment. By celebrating the beauty and mystery of nature through fairy stories, indigenous cultures have preserved a vital understanding of ecological stewardship. Fairy myths also emphasize the need for balance and harmony. The stories often depict how disruption to nature's balance leads to chaos and hardship, while living in harmony brings peace and prosperity. This balance is not just a theme in the stories, but a reflection of a deeper, time-honored belief in the importance of ecological equilibrium. As we read these ancient tales, we are reminded of the timeless wisdom they carry. They offer a glimpse into how past generations viewed their relationship with the earth and provide guidance on how to care for our environment today. Through the magic of fairies, we are invited to reconnect with this ancient understanding and remember our own role as stewards of the natural world. In the end, fairy myths are not just stories of wonder and magic, they are powerful reflections of how humans have long perceived their place in the world. They teach us about the importance of respecting and protecting nature, reminding us of the profound connection we share with the earth and the responsibility we have to cherish and preserve it. When we think of fairy myths, we often imagine whimsical tales from far-off lands, filled with magic and wonder. Yet, these enchanting stories have cast a spell not just over distant cultures, but also over Native American literature. The influence of fairy myths on Native American storytelling is a tapestry woven with threads of magic, cultural exchange, and profound reflections on the human experience. Fairy myths, with their rich and vibrant worlds, have made their mark on Native American literature in ways that resonate deeply with the heart. The stories of these mythical beings, from their mysterious realms to their intricate roles in human lives, have found their way into the narratives of Native American writers, blending seamlessly with traditional storytelling techniques. In Native American literature, the influence of fairy myths often manifests in the way characters interact with the supernatural. These stories are infused with the magic and mystery that fairy tales are known for, yet they are also deeply rooted in the cultural contexts of the tribes. For many Native American writers, incorporating elements from fairy myths allows them to explore universal themes of wonder, transformation, and the interplay between the seen and unseen worlds. Imagine a story where a young Native American protagonist encounters a mysterious, fairy-like being who offers guidance and wisdom. This character, with a touch of magic and an air of ancient knowledge, becomes a bridge between the mundane and the mystical. Through this interaction, the story reflects a blend of traditional beliefs and fairy tale enchantment, creating a narrative that feels both timeless and profoundly personal. Fairy myths have also influenced Native American literature by introducing new ways to portray the natural world. In fairy tales, nature is often personified and imbued with magical qualities. This portrayal aligns with many Native American traditions, where the natural world is seen as a living, breathing entity filled with spirit and meaning. Writers draw on these fairy tale elements to enrich their depictions of landscapes and creatures, blending the magical with the real to create stories that resonate on a deeper level. For Native American writers, the influence of fairy myths extends to themes of transformation and identity. Many fairy tales involve characters undergoing profound changes, reflecting their inner journeys and struggles. Similarly, Native American literature often explores themes of personal and cultural transformation. By incorporating fairy tale motifs, writers can add layers of meaning to their narratives, highlighting the struggles and triumphs of their characters in a way that feels both mystical and grounded in reality. The magical elements of fairy myths also offer a way to address contemporary issues within a framework of wonder and imagination. Through the lens of fairy tales, writers can explore themes such as environmental stewardship, cultural preservation, and the clash between tradition and modernity. The fairy tale's ability to transcend ordinary boundaries allows for a unique exploration of these themes, providing readers with a fresh perspective on familiar concerns. In Native American storytelling, the influence of fairy myths can also be seen in the use of allegory and symbolism. Fairy tales often use magical elements to symbolize larger truths about human nature and society. Similarly, Native American literature employs symbolism to convey deeper meanings about identity, community, and the human condition. By drawing on the rich symbolism of fairy myths, writers can enhance their stories, adding layers of depth and insight that resonate with readers on multiple levels. The incorporation of fairy tale elements into Native American literature is not just a matter of stylistic choice, but a meaningful blending of traditions. It represents a fusion of cultural narratives, where the magic of fairy tales complements the rich tapestry of Native American storytelling. This fusion allows for a dynamic exploration of themes and ideas, creating literature that is both imaginative and deeply rooted in cultural heritage. As Native American writers weave fairy myths into their stories, they are not merely borrowing from other traditions, but are engaging in a dialogue between cultures. This dialogue enriches their work, providing new ways to express age-old truths and explore the complexities of the human experience. The influence of fairy myths on Native American literature is a testament to the power of storytelling to bridge cultures, inspire new perspectives, and touch the hearts of readers across generations. Through this blending of fairy tale magic and Native American traditions, a new form of storytelling emerges, one that honors the past while speaking to the present. It is a celebration of the universal human longing for wonder, transformation, and connection, and it reminds us of the enduring power of stories to shape our understanding of the world and ourselves. When we think of fairy myths, our minds often wander to the enchanted realms of Europe or the whimsical tales of distant lands. Yet, hidden within the rich tapestries of Native American folklore are tales that have cast a spell beyond their own cultures. Native American fairy myths, with their unique blend of magic and wisdom, have left an indelible mark on global understandings of fairies and spirits. In the heart of Native American folklore, fairy myths are not merely whimsical stories, but deeply embedded cultural narratives that reflect a profound connection to nature, spirituality, and the supernatural. These tales, rich with symbolism and mystery, have begun to influence how the world perceives fairies and spirits. Consider the impact of the Native American Nunahai, the benevolent beings said to inhabit the forests and hills. Their presence in stories often signifies a deep respect for nature and a harmonious relationship with the environment. When these tales crossed cultural boundaries, they brought with them a new perspective on how fairies could be seen not just as mischievous creatures, but as guardians of the natural world. This reimagining has helped broaden the global understanding of fairies from mere folklore to significant symbols of ecological balance and respect. Similarly, the Crees Managishi, known for their trickster qualities, have introduced the world to a different side of fairy lore. Unlike the often ethereal and benevolent fairies of European tradition, the Managishi are mischievous and unpredictable. Their stories offer a fresh view on the role of trickster figures in folklore, highlighting how fairies can embody a complex blend of humor, danger, and morality. This portrayal has enriched global fairy myths, demonstrating that these beings can be more than simple magical entities. They can be profound reflections of human nature and ethics. The Ojibwe's Mimigwizi, small water spirits known for their playful yet mysterious behavior, have also made their mark. Their inclusion in global fairy lore has introduced a new dimension to the portrayal of nature spirits. Mimigwizi, with their intricate connections to water and their role in the ecosystem, have helped global audiences appreciate how fairy myths can symbolize a deep, spiritual relationship with natural elements. This understanding has influenced how modern fairy stories incorporate themes of environmental stewardship and the sacredness of natural elements. As Native American fairy myths spread, they have inspired a more inclusive and diverse view of the supernatural. The stories of these mystical beings often come with teachings about balance, respect, and harmony, values that resonate across cultures. Their influence is seen in how contemporary fairy tales and spiritual narratives now often incorporate themes of environmental consciousness, cultural sensitivity, and a deeper connection to the earth. The global fascination with Native American fairy myths has also sparked a greater interest in indigenous wisdom and spirituality. By incorporating these tales into broader narratives, there is a growing recognition of the rich, diverse traditions that contribute to our understanding of the mystical and the magical. This integration helps bridge cultural gaps and fosters a more nuanced appreciation of fairy lore worldwide. Through literature, art, and media, the impact of Native American fairy myths can be seen in the way these stories challenge and expand traditional fairy tale motifs. They offer new perspectives on themes such as the role of fairies in human life, the relationship between humans and nature, and the moral lessons embedded in folklore. This global exchange has enriched our collective imagination, offering a broader and more inclusive view of what fairies and spirits represent. Native American fairy myths, with their unique blend of magic, culture, and spirituality, have thus played a crucial role in shaping our global understanding of the supernatural. They have introduced new dimensions to the folklore of fairies, emphasizing the importance of nature, the complexity of spiritual beings, and the richness of cultural diversity. In doing so, they have not only expanded our appreciation of fairy myths, but also highlighted the universal truths that connect us all. In the whispers of the forest and the rustling of ancient leaves, there lies a timeless tale, a story of fairies that have danced through the hearts and histories of Native American cultures. These magical beings, woven into the very fabric of these cultures, have endured through centuries, their essence as vivid today as it was in the past. The magic of Native American fairy myths is not just a relic of old stories, but a living thread that connects past and present. Each story, whether of benevolent guardians like the Nunahai or mischievous tricksters like the Managishi, holds a piece of the spiritual and cultural heritage that continues to resonate with people today. The Nunahai, those elusive beings said to live in the hidden corners of the earth, embody a profound respect for nature and the spiritual world. They remind us of a time when people lived in close harmony with their surroundings, where every tree, stream, and hill was imbued with sacred significance. The tales of these guardians highlight a bond with nature that is as crucial now as ever. In a world where environmental issues loom large, these ancient stories serve as a powerful reminder of the need to honor and protect the earth. Similarly, the stories of the Managishi, with their trickster antics and unpredictable nature, speak to the complexities of human behavior. These figures teach lessons about the balance of laughter and mischief in life, the importance of humility, and the recognition that the world is not always as it seems. Their presence in folklore underscores the idea that even the most playful and seemingly chaotic elements of life can hold deep meaning and wisdom. The Mimigwizi, the small water spirits of the Ojibwe, symbolize the delicate balance of life and nature. Their playful nature and mysterious behavior reflect a deep connection to water, a vital resource that sustains all life. Their stories remind us of the importance of maintaining this balance and respecting the natural world's sacredness. As modern society grapples with environmental challenges, these tales become a call to action, urging us to cherish and protect our water sources with the same reverence as the Mimigwizi. The resilience of these fairy myths is also seen in their ability to adapt and survive through changing times. Despite the pressures of colonization and modernization, these stories have not only endured but thrived, finding new expressions in contemporary art, literature, and spiritual practices. This adaptability reflects the strength and vitality of Native American cultures, which have preserved their traditions while evolving to meet new challenges. Today, the fairy myths of Native American cultures continue to captivate and inspire. They appear in modern storytelling, artwork, and ceremonies, bridging the gap between ancient wisdom and contemporary life. These stories serve as a testament to the enduring power of myth and its ability to speak to universal truths about human experience, nature, and spirituality. The legacy of these fairy myths is not just a celebration of the past, but a beacon for the future. They remind us that the magic of storytelling is a vital part of our collective heritage, offering insights into our relationship with the world around us and each other. The fairies of Native American folklore, with their rich symbolism and deep spiritual connections, invite us to reflect on our place in the world and the values we hold dear. In this way, the resilient myth of fairies in Native American folklore is more than just a collection of old tales. It is a living, breathing part of cultural identity and spiritual practice. It reminds us of the beauty and complexity of these stories and their relevance in our lives today. The enduring presence of these fairies in the hearts and minds of people reflects the timeless power of myth to inspire, educate, and connect us to something greater than ourselves.